Welcome, everyone. Hello, and welcome to City of Light and Shadow, a Fate French resistance campaign using Fate Condensed. And I'm so happy to have all of you here for episode 12, title to be determined at the end of the episode, of course. Maybe by you all, because I feel like you can never know what the episode title is until you get there. Like, those are my feelings. That's how I feel about it. How's everyone in chat doing? I hope you're doing well. It's good to see everyone. And thank you, Paladin Hulk, for waving over there in Europe. Go to sleep. It is an inappropriate time over there. You should be sleeping. So I want to thank you all for being here. This is episode 12, and I am troopersjp, and I am your GM for these shenanigans. Before I have our characters introduce themselves, I want to do our top of the show business. First off, I want to thank you all for being here. All of you viewers are very much appreciated. We do this for you, so thank you. I want to say there are ways you can support this show. All of our players work really hard, and I am so proud of them and so honored to be able to work with them. And so you being here means a lot to me. And let me see. So if you want to support us more, the best and most important thing you can do is be here and watch the show. That's it. And chat with us in chat. And we've got some Europeans who are like, wait, we should be sleeping? You sleep if you want. Don't sleep if you don't want. Sleep in the morning. You do you. You have agency and autonomy.
Quarantine rules say, what is time?
What is time? What is time? What is day?
Means nothing right now. Time means nothing right now to anyone.
Time is completely irrelevant.
What is German time?
There's only the time I stop drinking coffee and start drinking booze. That is the only thing that's relevant anymore.
That is the shift. But you can, if you would like, you can host us if you like. You can retweet our going live tweet. You can, and I'm sure that those, now they've changed everything, so I imagine all those things are probably down here maybe, or they're up, I don't even know where they are. You can follow us if you like. You can subscribe. You can also join our Discord. We have a chat there. You can hang out and say hello. Also, if you like, we have a Patreon, and that Patreon is there to help support the show, because I make sure to pay the cast, and also the music that you hear. Our theme song is commissioned, and also our overlays are also done. Our theme song by Lizard Eats Flies, and our overlays and art by Efrithiel, who's amazing. And so if you want to support our cast that way, you can do that through Patreon. Or also you can donate tips and bits. If you do, we will read off those messages at the break and at the end. So that's, I think, all of that. All of that said, why don't we introduce the stars of the show? I love your faces. The stars of the show, our cast.
Like no star today. I just want everybody to be clear. That is Trooper's interpretation.
Yeah, right.
They're stars. And stars, what's the thing about stars? What's great about stars? They get spotlights on them, And like dramatic things happen to them all the time. And
Just get a hold of yourself, Trooper. All right.
I don't think I can. I
haven't even made it through the intro yet.
I know, I haven't even made it through the intro.
It didn't take long at all, really.
No. But before I introduce you, let me go to the map screen, because there is one last way to support, and that is we generate channel points, which we call extra credits. And those extra credits, for 5,000 a piece, you can, representing London, give support to our heroes in the form of fate points, but you're limited to only 4 per episode. And I would like to thank Krellin, who this episode is very much London, and I'm marking this as complete, and has donated 4 fate points for our heroes, which you can all see me add to them right now. So, I'm not cheating them out of fate points, because I would probably not do that.
We wouldn't let that happen.
You're like, no, we would note. You all now have 7 group fate points.
7
Nice.
group
7 group fate points.
Pretty good, gang, because we used quite a few last time.
Yeah.
Even though we got the
So-
white
so-
wolf and
Yeah. And right now, just to remind you all what our aspects are, the game aspects for the whole game itself are shady and uncertain alliances, trust is dangerous, Nazis are everywhere. Also, this is a scene aspect, but this is an aspect that is ongoing until people can fix it. Paris is a labyrinth because our heroes switched up a lot of the street signs, making it difficult for people to maneuver if they're not locals. And then also there are some PC aspects. We have just a couple of boosts that are hanging out. Now, normally in Fate Condensed, actually Fate in general, boosts only last for the scene for which they happened. But I just feel like having them stay around until you use them. Because they're one-use things only, right? You can only use them once anyway.
It's like a cipher. It's like a cipher.
Yeah.
A cipher system. It's like a thing that's like gives bonuses.
Yeah, it gives a little bonus. And I will say, if the boost only makes sense to last a scene, for example, if you throw dirt in someone's eye and that's your little boost, I'm like, okay, that will clearly not last forever, but
They
otherwise...
permanently have dirty eyes now.
just dirty eyes. But generally, unlike the recommendation, I let those last until they're used, unless they're very specifically limited. And then you also know a couple of things about Jeanette and Luke. They have some aspects you know about. Luke is a low-level criminal gang member. He's a member of the Cleaners, who are one of your allies. And then also you know some things about Jeanette, including that she's currently under interrogation. Those are the things you know. So let's introduce your characters. I am going to... So I was thinking about beverages because right now I'm having a really nice slushy. And I thought the question that I would ask your characters is, what is your character's favorite beverage? That is the getting to know you question for today. And I thought we're going to go backwards. So we're going to start with Rocket Fox. Why don't you introduce who you are, who you're playing, and your character's favorite beverage?
Yeah, so I am Rocket Fox. Hello, everyone. And I am playing Sylvie Moreau, who is a saucy jazz singer. Who she's gone through a thing or two in the past couple episodes, but the sauciness I think is going to be coming back full force here soon. Nothing can keep her unsequined for very long. And favorite beverage, that's hard. That's hard. Like, are we talking nighttime beverage, hangover beverage? But that being said, this is dangerous, y'all. I think wine is a really strong choice. Like back when she was still in the US, I think she would have been a bourbon type of gal. Let's be real. But I think since she's opened the club, since she's become a business entrepreneur, a jazz singing lady, I think she's really become a wine gal.
All right. Let's go to our next person in our overlay, Dot of the Little Red variety.
Hi, I'm Little Red Dot. I play Regina, our displaced German who fled her country and found some solace for a little while anyways, in France, away from Nazi arms, and then her father showed up.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
What does your father do exactly?
Nothing of import, nothing that has to do with chemicals or mass warfare or Nazis or hate and killing people. None of that.
So it's cool.
So it's cool. We are cool. Right. So that's Regina. We'll learn about her daddy issues soon.
Yeah.
We'll learn about those daddy issues. But her favorite drink, of course, is actually coffee. Because it is a very German drink.
Yep.
Coffee. There are a lot of different flavors of German coffee. Very good coffee comes out of Germany. And we all know that it is the only thing that Regina finds any joy in. at the moment.
At the moment. Also, I'm so sorry that you only get super bad fake coffee right now under occupied Paris. I'm very sorry.
It's just an extra jab every time she has to drink a shitty cup of coffee.
Stiver.
Hello. I am Stiver. You can find me on all the things in the universe under Holy Stiver. But I am playing Tango, the American who's been dropped in to Paris and has actually found himself kind of enjoying his friendships, but not enjoying the fact that he's made these friendships through wartime efforts. It's not his favorite thing in the world right now. But let's see, his favorite drink. I would say it's whiskey. I would say that it's either
very American of you.
A very American, just like whiskey with some Coke or something. I mean, I don't know if is Coke around anymore?
Yeah,
that's around. It's been around since the Romans, right? So
real cocaine with real cocaine.
So, and I also imagine he's a real enthusiast, almost like how hipsters now love craft beer and can name them all and hops and all that stuff. I think he's a whiskey enthusiast. Or James Stiver knows nothing about whiskey, just that it tastes great. But I think for him, he's secretly just a lover of whiskey, like to an nth degree.
I have a what's the word? An observation about all of y'all's characters, which I will share after we find out about Double Crits. JF.
Hello.
Jean-François.
Oui. I'm playing Jules Césaire, a demobilized soldier of mixed race. His mother is from Martinique. His father was a French soldier in the First World War and an officer. Jules has recently killed 2 men and fallen in love. So it's a very big time in his life, a very intense time, very stressful. We have some stress boxes here. Some stress boxes who have been ticked. We have shaking hands. It's terrible. But Jules, his favorite drink, I would say, is you know how it is in France. You start with sirop. You know, because especially this might have started in wartime actually, because it's a cheap way of drinking juice. It's actually not juice. It's just like Kool-Aid basically, but with liquid. So you just put a little liquid, a little sirop, a little framboise, raspberry, or pear, or whatever, and you put water with that, and that's what you give kids. So that's how you start off. And then when you become an adult, you drink pastis. Pastis is the same thing. You put a little pastis and a lot of water, and you have a strong drink. And this is what Jules likes because it's cheap, strong, and good. I don't know if anybody's tried pastis.
I know I have to have some.
Yeah, it's a strange taste. It almost tastes like medicine in a way. It's very strange. You need to get used to it. Yeah,
like a licorice type taste, like
exactly
like absinthe.
Exactly that. And they drink it mostly in the South because it's nice when it's hot.
Yeah,
right, like absinthe. Yep.
Because it's got with soda water.
No, not soda water, just water. Just telling you, maybe a wartime drink was invented in this times, or hard times anyway. Yeah.
Oh, see, this tells us so much about our cast. I love that. So last week, it was Saturday, May. Where's my calendar? Because I want to be official. I don't want to give you the wrong dates here because the chat will know and then will murder me. They probably won't murder me, but it is May. It was last week. It was May the 17th. Thank you, Caldrake. It was May the 17th. And it was a very strange day. Friday was sort of like a day off for everyone, sort of, or a sort of a day of laying low, although some people did not lay that low. Instead, they had huge adventures that were very traumatic and very upsetting. And on Saturday was a day when people really dealt with this. They dealt with the aftermath of a number of things that have been bubbling over. Actually, everybody did in their own little way, including Jules killing 2 people and falling in love. And really, really worried that he screwed it up really badly and that...
We could say it was a crime of passion.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yes.
There was some passion. Okay, anyways.
But also, I mean, there was like some concerns, right? He was very worried that he was going to get caught and bring down everything on the cell and that he should go away. And anyways, resistance work is always crimes of passion. That's right. Passion for liberté, égalité, fraternité. And he had this really sort of amazing heart-to-heart talk with Tango. And I want to ask you, Jean-François, do you feel like that conversation was enough to clear your stress? Not your consequences, but your stress.
Part of it, possibly, but I think he's going to need a bit more time to, or guidance to understand his feelings about what he's done, you know?
Mm-hmm. But that's more consequences, but like your sort of momentary stress.
The momentary, no, I think that's gone.
So you can clear all of your stress boxes because of that conversation that you had with your brother in arms.
The power of bro talk.
The power of bro talk.
Errol Flynn.
On the other hand, our Sylvie went to see the Drancy sort of concentration camp, the transit camp, to try to get her beloved out, and realized that she couldn't. Not in any way that she couldn't. And she, as she does, puts on a brave face and doesn't tell anybody anything about it because everything is fine, although her stress boxes are all maxed out as well. And Regina's like, you're wearing all black, and the amount of shiny on your black...
Your style, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not you.
This is not you. And they also had a heart-to-heart talk, and it was and there was also an awkward hug that was also involved. And so let me ask you, Sylvie, do you think that conversation about what can be done, what can't be done, do you think that was enough to clear your stress? Do you think that was consoling?
I think it was to a degree. I think that she has moving forward.
I
think is going to. I think that helped clear some of that stress. I think some of it's just there are some things that are a longer lasting thing that is going to be that resides within there.
In which case, you may also clear your stress boxes.
Hey.
For those who are in the audience, in standard Fate, you clear your stress boxes after every scene, but that's for a much more cinematic situation. So we actually don't clear them after every scene. They are cleared when you RP something that will clear them. So if you, for mental stress, relaxation, good heart-to-heart, taking some time, right, for physical stress, getting some bandaging, resting, some cold compresses, a steak on the face, whatever you got to do.
Meditation.
Some meditation.
Stretching.
Yeah.
Yoga.
A little bit of yoga. So you just have to RP it. You RP something, or it is done off screen, and then those things will clear. So they don't automatically clear. You just have to do something. It's not onerous, but I think it was a really great last episode. We really got to see the ways in which their comradeship with each other can sort of be generative and be helpful in the midst of the war, which I really appreciated. And I think that's all that happened. Oh, wait. That wasn't all that happened.
No. Yes, it was. We can forget about that. That was super not important.
That was... No, that really, because I feel like something else happened. I feel like
Nope, I don't think anything else happened.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, too late.
No. I have a right there. I think your very good friend Tristan Hassel, who's the head of the Gestapo in Paris, stopped by.
He adores us.
He does.
He was very taken with our
He
group.
adores Sylvie.
But he looked at Tango and was like, yes, do find out what you can for me. I trust we're trustworthy, trusting.
Right.
But yet there was something that a little thread that he caught, that there was something.
He asked a lot of questions.
He asked a lot of questions, most of which were answered in ways that he found convincing. But there was just something that didn't sit right with him as he left. And just to make sure everything was fine, some people did a little bit of peeping. And it was not a big deal, of course. Tango saw nothing out of the ordinary, just saw Jewish doctor friend Hannah Roth coming in, and everything was fine. JF's character, Jules, however, who was on the side of the building, happened to see this very striking Aryan woman in the corner across the street, watch this exchange. Someone quite striking and intense, who noted and left. Someone that we all are, well, I mean, it's the Arctic Wolf is who it is. Yeah. And then I suppose the other thing you'd need to note is, well, there's the last thing, but also that Regina, who is very, what's the word, diplomatic and sweet and warm and comforting, went and had a conversation with Falstaff, and that conversation.
I was polite and forward and honest. And if I remember correctly, I apologize.
For cutting
the
up his
rest of
face.
it he can take up with his ego.
But there was some word that had to happen, and that was because he followed up on the information that Regina gave, that some of the radio operators in Paris have been compromised, that she got from Falke's files, and that was true. He was able to confirm that, which means that those people... You don't have radio operators in Paris besides Regina at the moment. For Paris, she's the one. And so she's going to have to broadcast extra messages. And
Regina's building an army of little lady radio operators.
And that's part of her plan. But she's going to have to do a little bit more radio operating. It's going to be a little bit more dangerous until they can get more radio operators. And she also freaked out our young little Luke, who feels like killing people should be super fun. And it turns out...
I grounded him.
You grounded him. Yes.
Into the ground.
Into the ground. Into the ground. And we ended the episode after Tristan Hassel left. And everyone was on the radio, but what they heard was just an innocent sort of propaganda piece about how a famous chemistry professor, German, Walter Krause, is in town meeting with some of the academics at the Sorbonne, and it's just like a sort of like a nice academic exchange. And Regina kind of freaked out, and she's like, "Wait!" And she ran up the stairs, turned on the radio, and I believe that is where we cut off from last time. Would you like to pick up there? Or would you like to pick up,
That's fine.
days later, after all the bad guys have done stuff? I mean, you have choices.
I think picking up right
Pick
there.
up yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking up right there.
All right. And so Regina has come up and she's turned up the radio, and this little puff piece about Franco-German friendship has just sort of gone on, and mentioning some scientist who's come in from Berlin on, just sort of lovely moments. And then after that, it goes on to the news about a Moroccan who was caught, who had murdered 2 German soldiers. And this, we caught a villain who murdered 2 soldiers, and this you certainly will not do. And it's going on this radio piece about the importance of Franco-German friendship and how the Vichy government is very supportive of its German friends, and how any sort of attacks against Germans are not acceptable, and how this man was a thief. Right, he robbed this. He robbed sort of a French home, and then of course it goes on into this space about how he is from Morocco. He is not Aryan. And then it starts becoming editorializing about how people like this are dangers.
I flipped the radio off.
Oh, I was going to say, I imagine it would have been flipped off well before that.
Yeah, the moment they start talking bigotry, I'm just like...
I imagine I would have been probably still behind, so I'm probably just getting up stairs to where everybody is.
I have to go.
What was that all about?
Why do you have to go?
Well, my current living situation is compromised, and I should probably gather myself to leave. I thought about maybe setting a trap, in fact.
Oh, that would be nice.
A fox hunting, or a wolf hunting in these parts.
I put an order in for some explosives. Do you think you might want some of those?
Just placed an order. Was Torcus going to drop it off?
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Yes, that would be ideal.
Unless you guys think we can use these explosives elsewhere, but
Trust
it
me,
sounds
my
like...
place is not large. One single piece is enough.
All right. We'll see how much I can get, but if I can get something, then you can use it.
I'll go ahead and speak to my contacts about who has basement space available. Would it bother you having, I don't know, a handcuff or a chain or two affixed?
And Hannah, who's there because she was brought in by Tango, just looks a little surprised. And she's got her little medical bag.
Aesthetic please me. No.
No.
Suitable conditions without windows, then yes.
No, not. I'm not really worried about your aesthetic taste. That wouldn't be a deal breaker, would it?
In fact, it may be a selling point.
Ah, perfect. Sylvie goes to the phone.
Do you have a sister? A tall woman, short hair, blonde like yours. I think she was looking for you outside.
She was here. Where?
She was watching
The bar?
Yes. She was watching the talk with Tango and Gestapo man, or not?
With Hannah, who's the doctor.
Right, the doctor.
Did she see Hannah enter?
She did. She did see. She took note as she left.
Tango, when are these explosives here?
Let me check on that.
You just put the order in today, so you feel like it'll probably take a little bit of time, but you don't know how long it'll take.
I don't know how long it'll take. It'll be like...
Could be a day or two.
Okay. Well, the explosives, just put the order in. I wasn't expecting such a rush, so it'd probably be another day, maybe 2.
Maybe she will go look at your apartment, and then when she goes, you can set off your trap.
Is a thought. I need to make her... I need to make plans. I don't know much.
Well, if she also saw Hannah come in here, we also need to be on a high alert.
It's true. We did tell.
More high alert than the normal amount of high alert that we are always on.
Hannah, who has no idea what's going on, because she's been called here because apparently something was wrong. She's like, who is this woman?
She's a agent of German force. she specializes in certain things.
What things?
Hunting, specifically. And as a hunter, your job is to
Stalk.
and
Kill.
precisely. If she is on our block, she is stalking us with the intent to kill.
Well, I believe that's just every day of the week for us. Everyone's trying to kill us.
It's true, but this
So-
one is
We kill her first.
this is not a Falca.
Wait, was she alone when you saw her? We could have is she still out there? Let's just go kill her. Just right over there. Just, you don't got a knife?
And Hannah
Just-
looks a little shocked by this because, again, she's a doctor.
Oh, right. No,
He
that was,
kids.
Hannah, my friend here, he, I think you're here to see him. He's a bit shaky.
Oh, of course.
Jules,
I'll be back.
drugs,
And
I think.
Regina
is
kind
what
of
we
just
need.
like waves herself out.
And Hannah goes, wait, is it safe for you to go out there? By yourself?
Regina, I have somebody on the line. I've made contact with a few people. I think I may have just a space for you, but I think
Could ask Luke to go with you, maybe?
I
I
trust
can
me.
go with you.
There's no way Luke would walk back to my house, and I will be fine. I need to put a little distance between me and all of you and try to lure her in.
I think at least use the back door.
What if I trail you as she's trailing you, Rena, and offer some kind of backup?
I don't think I'm going to need it.
It's fine that you don't think you'll need it, but just in case.
And Hannah says, I would feel safer.
When was
If-
this up for debate?
Well, when you started having, and I'm just going to point over to the Hannah fans.
And Hannah just turns a little bright red, like she just blushes
Don't
a
do-
little bit.
Look, and I'm just going to.
Fine, keep your distance and recognize that her symptoms are far beyond yours.
I want to come too.
You
Oh, everybody's coming now.
I
This is
killed two
great.
Germans.
No,
What?
this is a bad idea.
This is ridiculous. No, you are getting checked out, and
Two Germans.
the decision was made when we were part of a team, Regina. A team.
Fine.
You are not
Don't.
alone. You are not alone, resistance person. You are not alone, agent. Besides, Tango, just stay very, very, very far back.
I will. I'll stay far back. Just so we know, can you give me a rundown of where your apartment is so I don't have to be.
No,
Okay, well, I will just.
you can follow and trail.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Um,
Jules, I need you to stay here, buddy.
Okay, maybe I
You
go
seem
talk
like
to
you're
the-
better, but I think Hannah's got something for you that can calm your nerves.
I
We need you
do.
at full speed.
Okay. I can also talk to Luke and the cleaners. Maybe they keep an eye out for her. They let us know where she is, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And good job, Sylvie. Thanks for getting a place for her, Regina.
I'm gonna need a contacts roll from Sylvie.
So okay, I am gonna tell you to go out the back, and I'm going out the front.
Okay. I will go out the back. And this entire time, I'm just going to be looking like a dude who's just walking around.
Okay,
I think if you do the shoulder walk, that'll really help, though.
So-
Cement that it's a very casual day.
I was
Also,
gonna say, I am not trying to deceive this person. I am just walking home.
also, Regina, you'll be happy to know that my contacts never fail.
Wonderful.
Would
I
you
just-
like, just as a side question,
Would you like a dungeon or no?
would you like the basic or the fancy dungeon package?
Oh, there's a fancy dungeon. It doesn't need. I guess it doesn't need to be fancy. Regina doesn't care as long as there are no windows.
We'll give you the fancy dungeon package.
Great, fancy dungeon package it is. She's here for that.
So, of course, Sylvie makes calls. Sylvie knows people all over the city. And knowing people all over the city when the city is occupied is very useful. And she's able to find a good basement place that you can stay in. And because the roll was so good, you get one boost that is attached to this basement apartment.
Wow.
What would you like it to be? You get one boost.
Okay. And is it like a one-time use or is this a boost that stays? A one-time use boost.
Yep, one-time use boost. Basement boost, your choice.
Some works.
Basement boost,
goodness.
loose basement boost. One use basement boost.
It's gotta be
Just to let you know a little history on the basement. It was an actual dungeon at one point.
Oh, okay. I would like for it to be off the grid, meaning that it is not in architectural plans.
Okay.
It was like a secret dungeon.
And
And it's not in architectural plans, which means it cannot be looked up in proper records.
You may even have to access it via
The sewers?
a secret place.
Regina's gonna love this.
Sewer access. This might as well be a vacation.
Maybe the catacombs.
Yeah, there's probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can
You
imagine.
said just the right amount of words there.
I will say that you can access it not through the catacombs, but I would say that there's probably also an entrance into the catacombs from this basement. Like I would imagine, I'm thinking that this basement is probably the basement of a very, very old brewery that is no longer a brewery. Like it had used to, it was like one of those really small sort of little breweries.
Imagine arch ceiling.
Yeah, like a little arch ceiling. It had been a brewery, but then it was like turned into somebody's home. Somebody with money who's a fan of jazz. And but of course, it has this basement into it underneath, and this basement that you can live in, and it has access to the catacombs.
I'm going to go ahead and throw in there too that this patron also does have a few old rolled tapestries and a couple old rolled canvases down there that they've just been storing if you want to take a peek around.
Have they been storing them properly?
No, they've been storing them well.
We'll see. I will be the judge of that. I will be the judge of that. And she goes, thank you. Do you give her the address? Is it ready? Can I go from point A to point B, or is this like going to take some time?
No, it'll be ready. They're just using it to store the paintings and such.
Great. Whoa.
And just for some other uses here and there, but they won't be needing that. That's all for you to, as you see fit. You'll figure it out.
Fantastic. Back door. I point at Tango.
Yeah.
Front door.
Got
Keep
it.
your distance.
Right?
And
Hannah says, but don't you think you should give him your address in case you get separated?
his goal is not to follow me. His goal is to follow the Arctic wolf.
Yeah, I'll just figure it out if we get lost. As in, I'll just come back here. Be like, oh, lost her.
Well, you should be safe, Regina.
Yes.
I'm gonna nudge Regina. Hey. No? Nothing. All right.
I'm going home to pack my things.
Yeah.
It's weird. Stop
Yeah.
it. Speaking to me. And she
Sorry.
like turns and leaves.
And Hannah,
All right. Well,
and Hannah asks as they're leaving to Sylvie, have they known each other a long time?
Well, they did have some sort of work communication before they met. There was some sort of instantaneous hatred whenever they met face to face.
They bicker like an old married couple.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
I suppose. All right, Jules, let me see your hands.
Shows them their. Yeah, they seem all right, I guess.
You know, at the moment they seem fine. Just
Also, do you see this blood on his shirt right there? What's this? Is this his? Jules, is this yours?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well then.
Forgot about this. I'm sorry. He takes
Well-
off his shirt.
What happened?
It's the man fell in love. You know how these things go.
Well,
No, nothing serious.
did you cut yourself shaving? And she's sort of like checking your face.
No, not that. Nothing serious.
Well, I was told that you were a little upset. How can I help?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you can help me. I sometimes I have since yesterday. Sometimes my hands start shaking.
Well, what happened yesterday?
An accident.
He shot someone. 2 someones.
Oh, you shot some people. Oh, well,
It was important work, but I mean, well, these are war times, and you know how these things can be.
well, shooting someone is liable to have a psychological effect. I know a psychoanalyst who studied Freud. I mean, maybe I can.
What?
A psychoanalyst. It's.
Jules, you could be a test subject. You could help the future of soldiers everywhere. Think of it.
I don't want to be a test subject.
But you could be helping people. Everyone. Lots of people, plus yourself. We can't have you having shaky hands. We need you. We need you to have steady hands.
Well, I think what you should probably do is, I do have a cousin who is a psychoanalyst who you could talk to if you needed to, but I can also prescribe some sedatives.
Okay. Where I'm from, we go talk to a priest, but I can talk to.
Oh, do you have a priest that you can talk to about shooting 2 Germans? Because, I mean...
I don't think so. These priests now, they work with the Germans.
So then I would not recommend talking to a priest like that.
Oh, Hannah. Well, obviously you don't have
Or
free.
maybe there's someone in La Resistance, a priest. I don't know. I'll try to look. I
And she
don't want
says,
to talk to some, whatever you call it.
a psychoanalyst.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know some rabbis you could talk to, if that would be more your style.
The rabbi is a man of God, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It'll basically be the same-ish thing.
Well, look.
At least the rabbis are not working with the Germans, huh?
No.
So I'll talk to them. Okay.
I will arrange something for you. And in the meantime, and she sort of goes into her bag, and she says, I don't actually have to write a prescription. And she sort of brings out like a small bottle, and she says, take these in water, only 3 drops, and you can do that maximum 2 to 3 times a day if you're feeling shaky. And it should...
Can I take it with the pastis?
Oh, well, yes.
Okay. Just when my hands are shaking, I cannot. Come on, my hands will shake at the moment where I cannot get a pastis. So this is not a good idea. Did you have something else?
No, you can also just take it with water, or I would not recommend taking it.
Well, I mean, okay. But I'm just thinking maybe I'm in a situation, driving something.
Oh.
You understand?
Yes. Well, it lasts a little bit. I think you should just, if you're going to anticipate something dangerous, perhaps take it in advance.
Okay.
But also, talking to people will help. This is a problem of the heart, shall we say.
Hmm.
Are you having nightmares?
I don't know. Sometimes I wake up sweating. I do not remember.
Well,
Hmm.
I think, I will talk to one of my rabbi friends or talk to your comrades in arms. Sylvie is always very good to talk to.
Mhm.
And she just kind of gives Sylvie this look. It's a little hard to
Did
read,
Sy-
perhaps.
Sylvie, did you kill anyone before?
It's been some years, but I have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to leave.
Oh,
No, it's all right. I'm going to leave.
it was a different time in a different place. Different
Okay.
I'm going to go. You two talk about that. I'm going to go out the back door. When Charlie gets in, say hello to her for me.
But be careful, huh? Because you were seen. You were seen by this woman.
Okay.
Hmm.
You two should talk. She says as she goes out the back door, and she leaves you this little bottle of morphine. It's very small. And she goes out the back because there's apparently people have murdered people, and she does not feel like she needs to be there for that conversation.
Hmm. It was self-defense.
Oh.
I tell her as she goes. It was self-defense, huh?
Leaving
So
you
what
two alone.
happened? What happened with you, Sylvie?
Well, oh goodness, this would have been eons ago. Eons. It feels like a different time and place.
Ah, what? You were 10 years old when you killed someone.
You know, despite how it may seem,
Terrible.
I am older than you, believe it or not.
Okay.
This would have been before I actually came to this glorious city. Back home where,
Ah,
well, you know
Did
how
you-
sometimes,
you kill an Indian?
no,
Okay.
no,
not like the
that's a
movies.
little more
Okay.
historical.
Sorry, I thought in America.
Jules, I'm not that old.
Okay. Sorry. I thought they have movies. I just saw one last year. Errol Flynn, Westerner.
Well, there's a little bit of leeway taken with those. So you know how sometimes, especially since the Germans have invited themselves into our city, you know how sometimes you'll walk around and people look at you because you're a little darker than other people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, do you ever feel like you're treated differently, in other circumstances too? I mean, you know how your mother had been working at the bakery,
Yeah.
and you
Yes,
told me
all
how,
the time.
you told me how she was fired now that the Germans have taken over.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you feel?
It's just I'm used to this. In France, it was like this, but now it's like the temperature is rising and rising with the Germans taking over and making things worse. So I feel hungry.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
feel hungry.
imagine that level. Imagine like it was always like that, though.
Always hungry.
Imagine that even just by existing, you represented a crime, as it were.
Like the occupation now. Okay.
Yes. Like, do you know how you feel when a Parisian woman collaborates with a German soldier?
Collaborates. You mean the horizontal?
The horizontal collaboration, yes.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
There are people who feel that way when people who are different races collaborate horizontally. And back where I come from, it's in the US. post Cowboys and Indians. It's not so much accepted in the same way.
I know. Well, you come from a small town in America or what?
Small towns, big towns.
Paris, you do what you want here. That's why you're here, huh?
That is why I'm here, yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, but the thing is, Jules, it doesn't matter if you're in a small town or a big town. It's all like that. They all look at you in the same way. They all treat you the same way. It doesn't really matter. And sometimes you find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And
right. This is what happened to me, exactly.
Exactly.
I didn't think anybody was going to be there. I thought it would be in and out very easy.
Well, sometimes you're likewise in a place that you think would be an okay place. You might be walking, just walking, right? And it may seem like it's an okay place. It may seem like you're going to be fine, but then maybe some people try and make it not fine for you.
This is what happened with you.
Well, anyway, the long and short part of the story is that one does not get to where I am in life and become the establishment of a place like this and smoke my cigarettes in public when women are not allowed to smoke in public, and obtain the things that I obtain and have the contacts that I have when they were not raised to carry a knife on them at all times.
A knife. So it was with a knife. Very personal, huh?
Well, I'm a personal kind of gal.
Okay. Right, but I don't know, these Germans, it all seems like an accident, you know? It doesn't seem, it's not what I thought, like a combat, man against man. No.
I mean, it's never what you think. You don't intend for someone to die. You don't intend for their life to leave them when you are just trying to live your life, when you're trying to do the right thing. You don't intend for anyone to die. You don't want anyone to die.
No.
But you're young.
Maybe Goering, I don't know, but
well, those are special circumstances after all. But
yeah, but I know what you mean. But these soldiers, they're stupid. They come here. They come here because France went there 30 years ago, and now they are here. You understand? So, okay, these Germans, they're mean, they're crazy, but somehow maybe we made them this way, you know? And this I understand because I live here and people treat me like sometimes like shit, you know? And I think the Germans were treated like this as well. So I'm not sure I want to be killing them all the time, you know?
But that is what makes you different than them. Jules, we're all treated like shit. The universe shits upon us all. The difference is what we decide to do with that. Are we going to in turn shit on the people around us, or are we going to try and make things better? People like the Nazis are going to come in and continue to spread the shit fest further. However, people like you and I are going to feel poorly about what we've done and perhaps try and pick up, move on, cut all ties with previous life and pretend that it never happened. Who knows?
Okay.
Or alternatively, try and live your life better, try and procure a better future for those who live around us and who cannot do the things that we can do.
But do you feel better about it now? About what you did so long ago?
My hands shake less.
Yeah?
They do.
And that makes me feel better then. Someday maybe I can feel better about this, but right now it's a bit hard. Huh?
Well, and at least, given some years from now, you at least know when it's the right decision. Because at the end of the day, it's never a decision you want to make.
Hmm.
It's never a decision you want to make. It's never a good decision.
Hmm. It's different on a battlefield, you know.
It is.
I think, I don't know, but I think it.
This is,
I'm hoping it's different.
my dear Jules, look around. This is the battlefield.
Hmm.
You saw the cars rolling through the other day. You saw the people being dragged away.
It shouldn't be like this at all.
This is no more or less a real battlefield than
This is a crazy war.
it is.
Hmm.
But we do what we can. Change street signs, work with what we have.
Hmm.
And if we can use that to our advantage and allow us to accomplish our means and have there be less people being killed on both sides, I would wager to say, then I think that's a success.
Hmm. Are you going to sing tonight?
I suppose so. The people, they will be expecting me.
Good, because I think this will make me feel better. When I was young, my mother used to sing to me.
Yes, and how is your mother, by the way?
Yeah, she's okay, you know. She's lonely and isolated. Misses her home.
I think that's fair.
Hmm.
Well,
She's made new friends, and yeah, they put on music for her. She dances with them. So.
oh, wonderful. And just let me know. I can have some of my other boys fetch more of her things if she would like.
Okay. All right. All right.
Maybe we can even get Luke to do it. I think you could stand to have a couple of things to do.
Okay.
He's been looking a little free and easy as of late.
Oh yeah. He's
Although he did look a little pale when he got back with Regina. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm assuming he won't want to visit her in her new space once all the Janes come to light.
she's tougher than he is. It's hard for him to accept.
Well, to be fair, he is but a child.
He is. Crazy boy. Need to keep an eye on him. We need to all keep an eye on this boy, huh?
We all need to keep an eye on each other.
And
he's one of us now, so.
And it's about that time when you hear the key in the lock and the door opens up and in comes Charlie, because it's getting to be that time of the evening. And behind her is, speak of the devil, Luke, with like a small case of some sort of mixed alcohol, like a couple of bottles of wine. It's not a lot because, again, we are under occupation and things are very regulated, but certain places always seem to find things, even though they should not be having them. And it's that moment where
check if he has pastis.
he has some wine. He's got some hard liquor. Because this is a bit of an expat bar. Like you want to have your whiskey. There's some gin. So he's got these like little things, and he's sort of just coming in carrying this, and Charlie's coming in, and you know that pretty soon the club's going to start coming to life with people coming in to start getting ready. Meanwhile, Dot. Regina's going to go home before the club opens, I take it?
Yeah.
Are you going to go home in any particular sort of way?
Yes. I will stay on all the main streets home. It's daytime. I'm allowed to be out.
Mm-hmm.
I have papers. There's nothing to say that what I'm doing is other than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make it look so.
All right. So you were just walking home during the day. Of course, at this point in time, it's getting to be toward the evening. It's probably 4 or 5. The club will be opening up pretty soon, and you're just going home. So the street's full of life. It's full of people. People are moving, and it's a wonderful day. No troubles. It's a Saturday. There are lots of German soldiers who are off duty, right? They're in uniform, but they're walking on the streets and enjoying their time. You can see them at these German cafes, going to the movies. You know, it's everybody's having just a lovely Saturday. Well, maybe not everyone. Would you like to roll awareness? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, that seems about right. It doesn't matter because I don't have it. So let me just roll you a -1.
You don't notice anything strange about the day other than, I mean, the only thing I would say that you notice, besides the fact that it is, the streets are sort of full and packed and full of sort of life and people without a bit of care, is that you have a regular number of checkpoints, sort of patrols. People seem to be, the soldiers seem to be a little bit on edge as normal. Like, and it's basically the general on edgeness that has been going on since the roundup. And,
Right.
well, really since Falke's murder, right? There's been a general sort of on edgeness.
Increase, yeah.
Yeah. A little increased tension, a little bit, you know, so there's that. But other than that, you see people just moving through the city. Of course, the city itself is sort of like a ghost town. I mean, it's not. It's just that a couple million people left Paris once the occupation was, the Germans were coming in. So a lot of people have left. I mean, it's still full of millions of people, but there's a kind of an interesting emptiness to it in its own kind of a way.
Yeah.
As a lot of people left who could, those who couldn't are still here. Tango, I'm going to need a couple of rolls from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I need awareness.
Ooh.
And I'm going to need stealth.
Right. You know,
if you're wanting to be stealthy.
Not my best stuff, but I am willing to try for you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Hey, awareness 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stealth 3.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to need my previous roll is going to stand for one thing, but I'm going to need to roll again for another. But here's what I'm going to need from you. I'm going to have to make a couple rolls. You're currently tied. You are currently at a tie at this moment when it comes to your awareness versus somebody else's stealth. If there were another person. Like, if there were another person.
I think that I'm going to spend my own fate point to bump that up.
What's your justification?
My justification. Ooh, let's see.
You're the best.
I'm the best. You can't deny it.
Around. Nobody's gonna ever keep them down.
If I dance, can I do it?
Danger zone?
Danger zone. All
well,
right.
also, like, leaving, like, if this person is focused on somebody else that they're watching.
And I'm very obvious.
Can I just use my high concept?
Yes.
That I'm SOE trained. And so the one thing I took away from SOE training, the rest of it was just getting through it, right? It was all a bunch of boring, like, here's how you shoot a gun, boring, you know, it's all that stuff. But I think I probably excelled in stealth, or at least I enjoyed it, becoming one with the people. So I've just, what I'm probably done is I've probably taken a newspaper and I've just like put it up, like I'm reading a little bit, like half reading. I'm looking around, seeing what everyone else is doing, and I'm trying to emulate that in order to be, to blend in as much as possible.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you for another. So there are two things. One, your awareness is enough. You're going to see something, but your stealth is currently not enough.
Oh, okay.
So
should I spend that? I need to spend that fate point.
Yeah, you might want to spend 2.
All right. I feel like I see that pile of fate points there.
I mean, that's up to you. You don't have to, but you can.
Fiscally irresponsible in the best of days. So when I see a pile of money, I just want to spend it. So I'd like to spend one of those fate points.
Yep.
That's on the pile there.
Okay. So you are, how far back are you?
What I'd like to do is I'd like to be just where if I'm not on the move, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose her, right? I'm going into this with every intention that I will probably I probably will lose them, and I'll just have to come back to the club because I don't want to be so up on Rahina that I'm seen. And if I know that, I also know that the Arctic wolf has seen me, probably knows what I look like, and would probably see this. Maybe I could use nose for a double cross too, as in the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't want Arctic to know that we're double crossing the Arctic.
Yeah, yeah.
Ow. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm doing. Is I'm actually about half a block where I can just still see her, and I'm always on the opposite end. But when I know that, like, depending on how fast she's walking, I'm trying to match that. But I'm going to be out and blending as much as possible.
So you're on the streets. They're a little full. Everything's very pleasant, and you can see Regina's hair. Right, like you see her. People are moving in and out, and you see her out there in the distance. It's so you're quite far back, and you've got your newspaper, and everything seems fine. You're walking a little bit. You know it's a little bit of a trek, and you're walking. Everything is fine. Nothing is strange, out of the ordinary. You see soldiers. You see some people laughing. I mean, it's everything's fine, and then out of the corner of your eye, you see this woman, and at first you don't notice it. She's walking on the opposite side of the street, and at first you don't really think anything of it. She's a sort of a brunette, but there was something about how tall she is, and also how quickly she moves. There's just something about her like there's something about her attitude.
She's different than the others.
And when you look again, you realize it's this woman. She's clearly wearing some sort of wig. She's disguised herself in the meantime. And she is walking. Wow. She is really good at her job. You notice that she... like you kind of watch her, and she just sort of weaves through people in this way, and she seems like she's a different person even, that you probably wouldn't have caught her, but there was just something about her attitude that you noticed when you saw her before. And she has done some kind of a quick change to look like a different person, and she is definitely following Regina.
From my awareness, does it seem like she is straight focused on Regina?
What's interesting to you, and this is from your focus, because you also get a bit of a boost, and your boost is because you use that fate point to succeed with style, and you have a boost on the Arctic Fox, and your boost is going to be, you know how she walks.
Know how she walks, and in some ways, I'm just impressed because I like a woman who walks confidently.
Oh, she does. But as you're watching her, it's this really funny thing because you kind of see her do her quick change. Like you just see her sort of move, like that she just is able to sort of just transform herself as a chameleon from one person to the next, and she's just sort of following. And your vibe is that she is stalking Regina. She is.
Prey.
But you don't know if she's getting ready to.
How far from Regina is she?
She's not closing. She's, I would say, about halfway between you. Like if you are right at the edge, right? She's halfway, but on the other side of the street. She's actually like, you don't think, and watching her, your awareness is very good. She has placed herself in such a way that Regina would not be able to see her unless she actually turned around. She's just out of Regina's peripheral vision.
Too good for that. She's not going to do that. All right. Well, my new focus is no longer Regina. I will only focus on the Arctic wolf.
And I will tell you this: your stealth is good enough. You did not succeed with style, but thanks to that fate point, she does not see you.
Okay.
You are able to just, like, there are a couple times
I'm not
when you
going
have
to cross the street and just start like closing in on the Arctic wolf. I'm going to go business as usual. Like opposite of the street, I'm just going to keep at this point, now that Arctic wolf is actually distance-wise closer to me than Regina. My target is now Arctic Wolf, and I don't care where Regina goes. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going to follow.
And as you watch it, because your awareness was very good, you're seeing this woman, and she's wearing like a coat. When you saw her before, it was more stylish, and now it looks a little bit less. It looks a little bit more like a workaday coat. But there's something about the way she walks. You are certain she is armed. You are certain that she is armed.
I'm certain that everyone is armed on the streets right now. That's my...
All German women have a gun on them.
All German women have a gun.
She seems armed. She seems...
Maybe a grenade.
Maybe a grenade. And it's this funny, there's like this little moment that you catch that is like this, that sort of stands out to you. That she's walking, and a German soldier who's drunk already at 5 p.m, sort of bumps into her. And it's this sort of moment where she just is able to, it's like she's a dancer. It's like she's danced all her life
around it.
Yeah, she just sort of like slides right out of it in a way that she doesn't break her stride, and you think, oh, okay. Like there's a particular sort of real dexterousness to her that, and at no point did she lose sight of Regina, even when she was bumped into by someone.
Okay.
Regina, you're traveling.
Just walking. I'm just walking home.
You're just walking home. It's fine. Everything is great. Nothing is strange.
Nope.
You get to your block. Do you go into your apartment?
I actually go. She was there earlier on this block.
Well, actually, that other guy was earlier. She's contacted this guy a couple of times.
Okay. I go down to the end of the block, like where they were, not where I actually am. And I loop back up and around, basically. If I can get out of sight, I kind of want to make a dart for my place. But if she sees me, that's okay too, because I'm trying to make her think that I don't know she's there. So I'm going to play it up, and I look around. Does anybody see me go secretly into my dungeony basement? I need to set this trap really good.
Okay, so now I want to make sure I got this completely right. If you've got your block, because this is important, you've got your block. If you are, let's say, if you imagine that square, right? Let's say you're here, right? This is where your apartment actually is. So you cross the apartment, and then do you go all the way around the block and around?
Yes.
Okay. So you go down the block and you turn the corner.
Okay.
Tango.
You probably see me.
No, no, because you're farther back.
Okay, yeah. I'm farther back, tailing Arctic Wolf.
The minute Regina turns the corner, she turns this corner, you notice immediately something changes with the Arctic Wolf. She stops what she was doing. So here's our block, right? So, Regina comes to this block. She goes down to the end of the corner. She turns, and the Arctic Fox does not follow her. She stops.
Okay.
And she goes into, you see her go into this, there's like a small door to a basement.
So not the building that's attached where she's... Okay.
So Regina goes down the block and takes a left turn.
Right, and then Arctic Wolf takes a...
No, Arctic Wolf doesn't go to the end of the block at all. There's like a small little place at the front of the block that she goes down to this basement space.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to. I don't want to go down because that basement space. I imagine it has like steps down.
Yeah, it's little steps down, and there's like a door. Like it's like there's like a building, and there's like at the side, like kind of like side alley of this building. There are little steps down to like a little door to probably a basement apartment.
Mm-hmm. Let me look around. Is there a vendor of any sort, like a flower vendor? I know this is Paris, right? Is there a flower vendor? I'd like to go up to the flower vendor, and I'd like to say in a French accent, whatever, in the French dialect. It's like, do you do deliveries?
And this guy looks at you, and he goes,
If I give you a little bit of extra.
So then his attitude just changes. So when you said, do you do deliveries, his face was like, no. Like, his face was like, who are you? What do you think? Why are you ridiculous? I clearly own a stall. But then you said a little bit extra, and his face was like, all of a sudden, interested.
And I'll let you play this for me, Trooper, because I don't know how much money. We never talk money.
Yeah.
Either I'm rolling a money, or I could just pass some of the last of the coffee over. Just pull it over.
Ooh, what would you like? What would you prefer?
I would prefer the money because I want to keep drinking coffee, and I would rather, because I really want a moment where the last bit of coffee I could give to Sylvie. I could. So I would love if, but it could be like the rest of my money, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. How much
You have resources, right?
Yeah, I have resources. So,
Yeah.
So I have resources.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'd like to push over some money and be like, anonymous admirer, I'd like for you to bring flowers. I'm going to point down to that basement.
And when you look, she's not there anymore. Presumably, she's entered the apartment.
Entered the apartment, right?
But let me tell you, it is that smooth. Like you didn't.
Like it just took that moment of talking to him and looking over because I was still trying to like.
Yeah.
All right. Shoot. Because I really wanted to do is deliver flowers to this bitch. All right. Well.
You imagine that she's probably inside that apartment.
Well, what I'd like to do, and I'm going to say, I would like for you, secret admirer, this woman. I'm going to describe the wig and all that stuff. She has this secret admirer, you see. She who was paying this money for this. And lives right there. I would just like for you to knock on the door and say, this is from your lover.
And he's like, oh. And he just looks at the money and he just puts it in his pocket.
Okay. I'm just going to lean on the stall.
And he picks up this bouquet of flowers. He sort of puts together a really nice bouquet of flowers.
I'm actually going to help him out with the arrangement because I feel like I'm pretty good at this. Like, no, but we need the purple's right here, you see, and then you have the sunflower right there, and it pokes out like the heart of the passion.
And he lets you do it because you just paid him a lot of money. And he has this bouquet, and he starts moving across the street. Meanwhile, Regina, you have made this loop around the block. And presumably, if you're being followed, she's still following you.
Right. Or she's going to see me either way. I know she's going to see me.
And you make it towards your... It's this moment you... would you like a fate point? Or would you not like a fate point?
No, I got bigger plans for her. It's worth it. Whatever she got on me ain't gonna be nothing when I'm done with her.
I just want to know the fate point. If you take the fate point, you get to the apartment before the flower delivery guy does. If you give me the fate point, he gets there before you do. That's your choice.
No, I want I want her. The plan was for her to see me, so if she does great, I get the benefit of the fate point.
You want the fate point?
Yep.
Okay. I will give you a fate point. Why? Because I care.
That's debatable.
is it? So you are coming into your apartment, toward your little apartment space, and you make it to the door. And I want you to sort of imagine the scene. You sort of walk down your little steps to your apartment, and as you sort of make it to the door, there's a man with a bouquet of flowers approaching your apartment from across the street, for a little vendor. So you're there in front of your door. This man is coming from across the street with this sort of really sort of luxurious bouquet of flowers.
Purples and yellows.
Purples and yellows.
Doesn't matter. I go in. I need to get my stuff together.
You unbolt your bolt lock.
Mm-hmm.
You open the door. You walk into your apartment. Do you shut the door behind you?
Yeah, I know she's got eyes on me. Am I aware that she's watching me?
You've not seen her.
Great.
For all you know, she might not be following you.
Then, but Regina has to assume that she's following her. Always assume you're being followed. So I act totally normal. I go in, I close it behind me. I lock it from the inside because that's what I would do. That's what I need her to believe.
And what do you do when you get into your apartment?
The first thing I do is I go over to the slot where all of the files have been hid for Falca. The last ones that I had.
I'm going to need an awareness check from you.
Fucking I don't think I have that. Wait, we've been through this.
Yep.
Fudge. Fudge.
Yep. By the way, I'm at a 4.
For what? For.
So like, I'm beating you by 6, just so you know.
I mean, I can't beat.
Can't do anything but
that.
reroll.
I could re-roll. I could spend it. Okay, I'll spend a fate point to re-roll. This is why I did this. That's the best I could do, but I still can't beat. I still can't. Okay.
It's unlikely that you'll beat that.
Yeah.
So, 4 instead of 6.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that is true. Okay. So, what do you do in your apartment?
I very quickly remove all of the files. I wonder, would I have everything here to make an explosive?
You might be able to. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff.
I've got all of the corals and wires that I would need, say from an extra radio and or okay. Regina removes all of the files, like pulls that brick from the wall from under her bed, pulls all of the files out, quickly burns them. There's got to be
Before
like a
that
cool down
happens, you pull them out from the hidden brick.
Yeah.
Tango, what are you doing? You see this man walking across the street.
No. So I see the flower vendor go down into the apartment.
I'm sorry. You see Regina go into her apartment first. Like, you see him walking across, and you see Regina sort of go down, slip into her apartment, and close the door behind her.
And that guy's he's now my sentry drone of going around trying to find this lady that I've been describing. So that's pretty fun to me that he's just looking around like, I don't know where this lady is.
Well, he's heading towards the apartment, but you notice that Regina slips inside the apartment first. Okay. So as far as you know, the Arctic Wolf is in that apartment, probably. You didn't see her go in, but you assume she is. Regina is now in that apartment, and this flower guy's on his way over there.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go to the apartment, and I'm actually going to, once I go to the door, I'm going to actually look at
You
the
hear a
flower
gunshot from inside the apartment.
Oh, shit. I'm going to...
Pause. Inside the apartment.
Damn.
As you pull that secret brick and you take all of the secrets, your microfilm that you have hidden inside your apartment and you pull it out, you hear, interesting.
Uh-oh.
My door was locked.
It was. And she shoots you.
Oh my god.
Great.
I'm going to make a roll, an attack roll. It was, and you're like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. I'm rolling the dice. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Be a good hunter, but she's not a great shot.
Yeah, but I also have, but she's got a good firearms score. What is it? It's shoot. She's got a good shoot. You are going to want to athletics.
Can't do that. Oh, okay. I'll use this fate point
Mm-hmm.
to I can up that by 2, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
So she's currently at a 2. If you up yours, what is your justification?
Okay, let me okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just
Mhm.
let me think through this.
Mm.
I see all the angles.
You do?
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a better shot than she is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a better shot than she is. I know it. I can feel it in my boots.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Regina sees all the angles.
Mm-hmm.
And in that like slow motion Sherlock moment, Regina sees her like draw the gun, knowing she's gonna get shot, but she tries to avoid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That makes it a 3.
Mm-hmm. Versus my 2. Now, this is interesting. You do know all the angles. That is true. And you spent that fate point?
I did. I pulled it.
Yeah, you have to delete it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Now, the Arctic Wolf, however, is an expert stalker, and I will use one of my fate points, bringing her up to a 5.
It.
Versus your 3.
So that means I would take how much physical stress?
So, because you know how these things happen. So she's beating you by 2.
2.
Mm-hmm. And so but it's a gun, and so that 2 is going to be added to that roll. So it's going to be a 4.
What?
Mm-hmm. Because guns are dangerous.
All right.
Fuck it. I got a hot nurse lady that can deal with my business. I'll take that 4.
Okay.
I will take it, which leaves me with a mild consequence.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like that to be?
That mild. It's only mild, correct?
It would
2-2?
only be mild because I can take the 2 physical stress, and I'll take the bullet to the gut.
No. Bullet to the gut is not a mild consequence.
Great.
No, that's not.
No, that is not a mild consequence. The thing is, you do know all the angles. You're able, like, you see her with the gun. She just steps out. Like, you're like, where were you? Like, she was like out, like where your dark room area was. She sort of like steps out, and you're like, how did you get in? My place was locked. She just comes out. She has her gun up. She sees you with all of that evidence, and she shoots, and you're able to turn, so that rather than a gut wound, you have basically a kind of like a graze in your shoulder. So you get hit in the shoulder, but not so bad. Like it's not that bad, right? It's not great, but it's not the worst. I got to go first. We are now officially in a combat. I get to pick who goes next. And I want Tango to go next. You hear a gunshot.
Okay. First question. I forget. Did she lock the door behind her?
She did, but you don't know that.
I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I will quickly try to jiggle the handle. Obviously, it's locked,
It is.
right? Now, am I looking over and is that guy there next to me?
Yeah, he's like stepping up. Well, he was like walking up. Think it's a little bit weird that you're there. And then he hears this gunshot and he's like...
I'm going to take the bouquet and I'm going to say, run. I'm going to set the bouquet down.
He does.
And I'm going to try my tradecraft to try to jimmy the door open.
Yeah, do it.
1.
You're going to need a fate point for that.
Is it worth it, gang?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Arctic Wolf is otherwise just going to keep shooting
at her.
into her.
Right.
Yeah.
So my friends are my world.
Yeah, that's right.
Armed? I'm armed.
My friends are my world. I go into pure tango red. So I'm going, so I set the bouquet down and I'm going to sit down and really going to think about it.
He's going to Kool-Aid Man right through there.
Tell me about what are your lockpicks like? Where do you hide them?
Oh, where do I hide them? Here's what I've done in the past few days. I have stitched into my banana shirt, which right now is a lizard shirt. And inside the lizard shirt is actually a secret pouch. I just go. I start taking out the stuff I need, putting it down, being very focused and not like he's one of those guys that actually thrives under pressure. So when bullets are flying, things are going crazy. Actually, time kind of slows down for me. It just goes. And in the movie moment of this, I imagine there's just going to be some jazz playing. And he's just like, okay, cracks his neck and just goes, even though there's gunshots or whatever, he knows he's got to stick with it. Yeah. So if I spend a fate point, will that fate point automatically do it for me?
Yes, it will.
Okay. So
spend the fate point.
That, or are you deleting it?
You do it. It's more visceral for you.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. And then if I still I don't know how many things we have left.
That's what you can do, but you get to pick who goes next. So you expertly and almost immediately pull out these lock picks, undo this lock, and the door swings open, and you see.
I would like to kick it open.
Oh yeah.
And I'd like to take the gun out of my back pocket, and I'd like to, like an American movie, just like, and I'd be like, I wish Jules could see me right now.
You get to pick who goes next.
I am going to, obviously, I'm going to pick Regina.
Are you sure?
Okay, Regina, after she takes this bullet,
yeah.
falls to the floor so that at least Arctic Wolf maybe thinks that she has the upper hand. And when she does, she reaches for the small pistol she keeps in her sock at her feet, and she will pull it and fire.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Give me some shoot.
Okay, that's a 2. Not the worst.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
That's a -3. Well, I have fate points, and I'm gonna re-roll first off, because that is not acceptable. That is a terrible roll.
I mean, couldn't you get a little bit worse?
So she rolls a 3, because she hasn't. I thought it's a 3.
Fine. I'm going to use a group fate point and add 2. Actually. Do I gamble and re-roll it, y'all?
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect time for all the re-rolls because we want this Arctic Wolf.
Do we want to gamble?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
do we gamble the re-roll?
If you, or you can add 2. Or you can add 2.
I mean,
Yeah, but then she only takes 1 point of damage.
3. Because
She would take
pistols
3 points
add
of
2.
damage?
pistol adds 2.
Melee weapons add 1, right? Like if you have like clubs, pistols add 2, rifles add 3.
Don't roll.
Okay.
You'll
All right.
already
I
take
just
damage.
add the 2. I'll just add the 2, making it a 3.
What's your
Like she'll
justification?
already take damage now, as opposed to maybe not taking any damage.
Okay. Let's do 3 then. I'll do 3. Fine. And
maybe you can shoot her in the eye and she'll have to wear an eye patch.
yeah, I want to make it I would like to make it a important wound, but I'm guessing that she can take all that damage.
So here's
the other eye. She has to wear a sash.
So here's the thing: you have there's a difference between, and you have a choice here between actually making an attack to roll for damage, or trying to create an aspect. So, for example, rather than shooting for damage, you could do something like you want to give her, you want to attach an aspect to her. Like you want to sort of shoot to slow her down, right? You want to sort of like slow her down. Like maybe you.
I'd like to shoot her in the kneecap.
So you want do you want to go for damage or give her an aspect?
I'm going to give her an aspect. And that aspect, I'm going to take out one of her knees.
You fire right at her knee, right? Like you are going to you're going to put on her an aspect with a free invoke, one free invoke.
Okay.
And that is injured knee. Let me get that there.
Shoot her in the knee, throw the aspect of no more kneecap.
Well, no, 'cause she's not that damaged. But it's
Small pistol.
It's a small pistol. She's not that damaged. She's
Kneecap's
okay.
delicate.
She's not that delicate. But what you've done is that you have now put injured knee. You've now put an aspect on her that with one free invoke, and that aspect will stay as long as it is relevant. Who goes next? It's a new round. You get to choose.
I get to choose?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's definitely Tango.
Okay.
All
You
right.
see her fall to the floor, pull out this little pistol out of her sock, and aim. And it's interesting. You see, Regina. You get a sense that Regina is very deadly and dangerous. But when
Not
she,
just a sense. It's an overwhelming terror that I feel every day.
I feel like that's fair. But when she shoots at this woman, she doesn't shoot to kill. She shoots at this really interesting angle that kind of clips, not really, but it just like clips this woman's knee. And this woman like moves to try to like not get her knee shattered, but it's this kind of, you're like, is she playing with her? Like what is going on? But you notice that the Arctic wolf, when she moves, her knee kind of twists in a kind of a slightly weird way. And you're like, oh, that's probably not gonna be great.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk in, trying to keep it cool, and I'm going to slam the door behind me. I'm going to, how far, because this is a tiny room.
It is a tiny room.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go right up to the Arctic wolf. Put my hand, my gun against her head, since it's my turn.
Are you gonna do it? Don't do it!
And I'm going to say, no. Be a good wolf and sit.
Oh.
So, before you roll the dice, here's a thing about how Fate combat works.
Oh.
I am nervous about this.
You always
She
have
doesn't want me to shoot her in the head. I could just shoot her in the back.
You could also shoot her in the head, or you could try, but here's the thing. In Fate combat, one of two things happens. You either get taken out, and then if you're taken out, the person who takes you out decides what happens to you. Or you can concede, and you decide what happens to you.
Okay.
She knows in her heart she could take down Regina. But there are two of you.
She didn't count for Tango.
She did not count for Tango. She is going to concede this conflict. And she decides how she is taken out of this conflict. And what happens is, as you come in and you pull up your gun right at her head, she ducks as like with the skill of a dancer. She ducks underneath your arm, and in a flash, she is out the door.
Should lock that door whenever I.
Fuck!
Oh, yeah.
Can I go chase her?
At least
Sure,
not.
chase.
Yeah, let's do a chase scene.
Chase.
Can I
I
chase
bought
her?
you flowers.
I want to try to get her before she hits the main street. Can I try to do that? I
This-
know that this is a hella long shot. but
This will be a chase. This will be a chase.
She got a
Chase,
she got a
chase,
grazed knee,
chase, chase.
This
got a grazed knee.
we're gonna be athletics versus athletics.
Oh, this is bad, y'all.
Not
Ew.
just crazy, she twisted her knee weird, so she can't run super fast.
Yeah, so hopefully that's got to do something for me, right?
So isn't that
Two?
a scene aspect?
It's me.
Something like that?
Well-
Okay. Here's the thing. She's got an athletics of 3, so she's at a 3.
I can't do it.
But
But she shot.
okay, so this is where that aspect comes in. This is whoever gets to 3 first. Right? If she gets to 3 first, she gets out. If you get to 3 first,
I rolled
she
a,
doesn't. A 2.
I rolled a 2. So what happens if it's a tie? Or if I can get to 3 with a fate point, do I get there first?
You can invoke her injured knee for free.
For free.
I will invoke her injured knee for free.
Okay, so she ducks underneath you. She sprints out of the up the stairs, but as you note, her injured knee slows her down a little bit, and you are both headed down the street, broad daylight. You have your gun out. She has a gun out. She's sprinting. You have got 1 success on her.
Mm-hmm.
Next roll.
Same roll?
Mm-hmm. It's 3 athletics. Who gets to 3 first? Roll it.
It's a 2 for me.
3 for her.
But can I invoke the same thing?
You have to spend a fate point for it.
What do you think? I'm gonna ask Dot what she thinks. No? Yes?
I mean, here's the thing. Even if you catch her, what are you going to do? You're going to drag her back? It's broad daylight. It's too late now.
Shit.
It's too late now. We can't do it without causing a scene. We had to get her before she hit the main street.
God, I want to shoot her right now.
If you do that, we are so compromised.
I know.
We are so
Okay.
compromised.
I know.
Regina, realizing she's not going to, immediately turns around and runs back to the apartment. She needs to get her shit. She needs to get the fudge out of here. I got plans for this place.
So I guess what's happening here is that maybe Regina goes back to the apartment. I was still chasing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to still chase, like, I'm going to have that moment where I get out of the apartment door and I know, and I just can see the Arctic just running. And I'm like,
she is close. You're like pacing her.
'cause I am 1 away from her 3.
You are.
Just 1 more.
Yep. You think you can chase her down because she's injured. That knee injury, you know that you can beat her. You know you can chase her down as you walk into the sort of the crowded Parisian streets.
God, people are gonna hate me. No, I'm not gonna do it.
You can. You just need to spend some fate points.
I know, Trooper. I know.
I mean, because you can spend them.
I'm just gonna shout out, I bought flowers for you!
You let her go?
I hate you, Trooper. I hate you so
You don't
much.
have to.
Don't worry, she'll be back.
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Mostly not.
She'll be back with a whole army if she comes and she tells everybody what happens.
Yeah. Can she like physically? I don't know.
Yeah, you
No,
can.
you know
Are-
what?
In the middle of the
Is
street?
it? Come on, yeah. Just you know.
It's up to you.
Just grab your wallet.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a fate point.
What's your
doing it.
justification?
My justification is, let's see, I've already used, can I use my friends are my world?
Yes, you can.
You bought
Okay.
flowers for her.
I bought flowers for her. No, this is seeing Regina being shot. This is for, this is almost like a bully scenario where I'm just like, no, you are not going to do this to my friends. So I probably, what I'd love for this scene is if she gets out the door and she gets out to, like, there's a crowd. I'll let you have that piece, right? And then I come out and I just like grab, like I can just grab her. I'd like to start pulling her back in to the apartment complex.
And I will spend my fate point. I have 1 left. Because she is a professional agent. And as you go to grab her, the wig comes off.
Oh man.
And she keeps moving, and you are currently tied 1-1.
Hey, real quick. I would like to, as a casual observer,
Yep.
just throw out. Let's see. Was that your last fate point, Trooper?
I have 1 more.
How? Let's see. And I have 1. How would you like a fate point?
Me? Tell me.
Yes, you.
Give me.
Because-
Give me the offer.
Last I recall.
Yeah.
Last I recall, the streets are a labyrinth, and she's running. She may have been there for a while, but she's still not a native. And And
I
she's
feel like she just got
injured.
in.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she just get in?
Injured. She's running. Her knees all messed up. There's somebody right at her wig just flew off. Like, it's her
Can I
crowd.
continue? Can I continue a chase scene with her through the streets?
There's a lot happening right now, and what if she doesn't know where she's going?
Oh,
Maybe she
and
runs into a dead end.
I will also tell you this: if you would,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'd like a fate point exchange for a dead end, please. One dead end. Ding.
One dead end, please. We would
One
like
dead
to
end.
order one.
You know what? I will reject that, and I will give you a fate point instead.
Accept.
Because you made the offer, right?
Yep.
And I reject it, but to do so, I have to give you the fate point.
And that's the last fate point you have?
That is the last fate point that I have.
Tango, would you like to keep chasing?
yes. Here's what I would like to do, because I'm going to tell you right now at this point, and I know this is the worst possible way and way that any of this could happen. I'm going to shoot her
Okay.
the moment I get a chance.
Okay.
My God.
Yeah,
Your face isn't even covered.
I know.
I'm going to recommend that you think
Maybe
about
try
how
body
you can. So you've got a couple things you can spend. You've got fate points. You've got fate points to spend. As long as you can get the aspects, that might be useful for you. So, do you want to do it right now?
Oh, hold on. You know something we haven't been thinking about
Tell me.
is the Bricktop Brigade
Yep.
fate points.
You have 5 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
So
We can use those?
Well, you have 5. Those are the ones that you're using.
Okay.
God, what I wish is what I'd love to do is spend something on behalf of the Bricktop Brigade, because I feel like this is enough. Like I feel like this Arctic Wolf, if the Arctic, because I feel like the
This
Arctic
gets
Wolf,
out, it's over.
if the Arctic Wolf gets out, goes back, gets back home, and tells everyone, doesn't matter what Regina.
If she gets back to Tristan, it's gonna be bad news.
It's bad for everybody. So I am willing to put all the resources into stopping this Arctic Wolf cold. If I could use the Bricktop Brigade, like if there's a special whistle or something where I would, and whatever I need to spend for it, they have a fate point.
Maybe
Or passion
well,
for a cause.
okay, hang on. Let me. Okay. Oh, this is good.
I'm ready for it. You talk to me.
Okay.
Your brigade has some skills.
Right.
We have an allied cell
You do?
that is all over the place. When they see you running, chasing someone, they step in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
I offered
It's
to,
it's yeah. It's like
kind of said I would
underground
talk to them
warfare.
too.
Pushing
I said I
her
would talk
into
to
an
them.
alley.
So
They
Okay.
could push her into an alley.
Yeah,
somehow.
she's lost in these streets already.
I mean, like
and now
people with
the,
like the big glass, like a big old, like almost a comedy routine where there's like all kinds of stuff in front of her and people are moving things out. You know?
I feel like you are wanting to do an undermine. Yes.
Yes.
So spend one of your stress, probably assets, personnel, probably,
Personnel.
That
Yeah,
seems
personnel.
fun. Personnel seems good.
and
Yeah.
make the undermine roll. And I think what you're trying to do is create an aspect, right? Create an advantage.
yes, yes.
That's a 1.
Okay, that's not bad.
That is not bad.
Not a negative.
You're gonna want to spend a fate point,
I will spend a fate point.
and
Just
probably
get to
passion for the cause, right?
Passion for the cause.
Do it. So that is enough. So here's a thing about, I'm going to just sort of tell you a thing to think about. She is an individual, not a faction. So she cannot defend against this faction action, right? Because a faction can defend against a faction action, but she's a person, not a faction. So there's no defense against that, except a flat defense, like you're doing a flat roll against a 2. So you were able to create in this scene an aspect. It sounds to me like the aspect you want with 1 free invoke. It sounds to me what you want is something like maybe
Angry mob.
chaos in the streets.
Chaos in the streets.
Yes, in the streets. Yes.
Okay.
Which is enough of a distraction for you to be able to shoot her and get away with it.
Yeah, that's what I want. So what I would love is now. Actually, I kind of like this scene in my head
Do it.
where I don't know. Again, if there's a whistle or something that we do that just basically like I'm just.
Well, what if there's like a certain phrase we have worked out with our other selves to where it's like, if they stole my flowers, or something like that. The other people understand that something's.
I'm just gonna point at her and be like, thief, and then thief stealing the flowers of Paris, that kind of thing. And I think that maybe that's why I did the whole flowers thing to begin with. Love it.
You yell out, thief! Stealing the flowers of Paris. And
stealing the flowers of Paris. And I think anybody who would be in the know just kind of knows.
And so here's the thing.
Right at the Arctic Wolf.
The streets are full. And there are a number of people who just kind of look like, what is that? And kind of step aside because they're not interested. But you see a couple of people. Some people that you don't know. And these people you see look a little, how do you say?
Big and scary?
Criminal is what I would say. They look like the kind of people who are on the streets for perhaps not the best reasons. Do you know what I mean? They are the kind of people who lurk a little bit.
Like Luke.
Street rats.
There's some street rats. There's a little bit of riffraff, and you see them look. They hear your call sign. They see this, and you see them. One of them pushes over a cart sort of near her as she has to try to sort of dart out of the way, right? So now all of a sudden there's a cart of melons that are on the street sort of rolling over, and she's trying to sort of dodge these melons, and so you can see somebody else moving into the side to try to sort of hem her in. It is your go.
My go. I'm going to in this chaos I am going to, because my gun is still in my hand. I think I was kind of trying to hide it when I was, you know what I mean? And when I get up to her, I'm just going to stumble up to her.
She's still running. And she's hampered, but she's running.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm running up to her, and when I get the shot, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to aim for the back of the head.
Okay. Do you want, here's the thing. She's going to make her escape roll.
Okay.
She's going to make her athletics.
Okay.
That's going to give her a success. So she's at 2. I'm going to say that if you want to take an aim action, you can do that.
Aim.
That's going to be
does that help my shoot?
That's going to be a create. Yes, it would. That's a create advantage.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Roll shoot or awareness.
I will roll a shoot.
Okay. This is not to shoot. This is to aim. Okay.
It's a 3.
Yes, it is.
Nice. Very nice.
You now have her in your sights, which is another free boost.
All right.
I'm going to just put this down here. In your sights.
Okay.
Now, this is the last time. She's going to roll to escape, and you can take the shot. This is the last moment for you to take a shot before she gets out.
Spend that fate point if you need it.
She rolls.
Tuck the fate point at her face.
Here's the thing. She rolls a 4. She rolls well enough to escape if you don't take her down.
Regina needed to be the one to shoot her. This is what Regina's good at, but she's injured.
You can see her. There's the chaos in the streets. People are moving, and you see that she's heading towards probably a car.
All right.
She's heading towards a car.
So Tango is moving his gun out. He's aiming.
In the middle of the street, and you can see this riffraff coming in and kind of shielding you, making noise, yelling, so people are not quite certain who's doing what. One of the riffraff punches someone, so all of a sudden it becomes really unclear what's happening and what's going on. She's heading towards a car. There's a car parked down the block where she's heading towards them. She's on her way. She's going to go. She's heading right there.
And I'm just going to say, bad wolf.
Roll your shoot. You roll a 3.
That's pretty good.
What was she at?
All you need to do is spend 1 fate point. It'll go up to a 5.
Wait. No.
Right?
You have a number of things you can use right now.
See those
Okay.
ones?
1.
Oh, you aim too.
Oh, I aimed.
You aimed.
First off, I aimed. And secondly, I also have that aspect on her.
Yeah, you have
right?
the boost.
And also there's chaos in the streets.
Chaos in the
Yep,
streets.
chaos in the
All
streets.
that.
That's plus 6.
plus
Yes. So a 9.
That's a 9.
Do it. Kill
say-
her.
Bad wolf.
Nice.
All of those are gone. All of those are gone.
Because her head literally explodes.
I need you.
And then I
Tango.
dropped to my knees, and I've never killed somebody before.
You need to get
I
out
need
of
you to
there. Do
roll-
not
Oh,
No.
Jesus. Yeah.
I need
Oh,
you to
boy.
roll a will roll.
He
Difficulty
is going
8.
to be weeping a
I
lot.
guess I could have been trailing behind
On
him.
his,
I could come
on
get
the
him,
best
right?
of days,
Yeah.
he's a very sensitive dude.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
best of days.
Yeah.
That's a -1.
Okay.
He's gonna be in bad shape.
Do you,
You're
okay.
gonna be in bad shape.
Before we
Why?
talk about how this
I
happens.
saw the back of her head explode out.
Yeah,
I'm
so
pretty
let's
sure
talk about
Did
the
he see
back.
that?
Yes, he
Okay.
did. You
my God.
you make this aim. It's like there's
Oh, you
chaos,
shudder.
but as you said, everything slows down for you, right?
Oh boy.
And you see everything so clearly, and you're aiming. You're aiming. You really paid attention. You know how she moves. You know the ways in which she sort of like jerks to the left or jerks to the right. You know what I mean? Like you kind of are tracking her movement. You know her gait. You can see the way she's moving with her injured knee, and then all of a sudden you see these mounts. It's all perfect, and you aim for the back of her head, and you fire. You squeeze the trigger in the middle of the streets, and her head explodes, and you see blood spatter on this woman. There's a woman, she's like maybe a grandmother, maybe, and she's just standing next to this woman, and all of a sudden there's like gore on this old woman's like frock. Like she's just a woman on the street, and there's like brain matter and skull bits on her, and you can see in her face this horror as this woman's head explodes right next to her. You have failed your roll by 9. Do you want to spend a fate point to make that less?
The will save. Whatever.
Yeah, you failed it by 9.
9?
By 9.
If no one
Go for
says,
it.
I think I should do
I
it.
feel like that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this-
Okay, so I spend a fate point.
What's the justification?
Justification is
He is also the world to his friends.
Yes, yeah.
I know,
And you may
um,
want to spend more than one if you can, but you're going to need a different aspect for each one you spend.
okay.
Yeah, otherwise he's not going to run anywhere. He's just going to
No, here's what it is. First off, it speaks up for women.
Mm.
It's going to be that my entire life I had been raised, and I feel that women are more like equals.
I want a
power,
fate
like,
point.
just empowered or whatever. And I think that it's one of those things where, how come the first of all the Nazis, all the men in this war,
Mm-hmm.
how come the first person I murdered
Mm-hmm.
is a woman?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that and I'm thinking through, like, that's the fate point. It's like, it's also I'm thinking through of my mother. You know, I'm thinking,
How does this make this better
everyone-
for you, though? This seems like it
Yeah.
makes it worse.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying is that
If I had a fate point, I would
sorry.
I
totally
would
spend
say
it.
I would
this-
say that it kind of, but I don't know. Maybe it's helping me.
I would say it's your military training.
Oh, okay, military.
This is when the military training
Mhm.
kicks in. All that brainwashing
Mhm.
that they do and all of
Mhm.
that, like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
stay in the moment, soldier.
Mhm.
Find something here in
Exactly.
reality. Like,
I guess where,
You think
where,
about
what
it later.
where I should be going with
Mhm.
that is that I think through all that and I start getting through that trauma,
Mhm.
and then suddenly, like, a ghostly slap in the face from a
Mhm.
sergeant. It's like,
Mhm.
what are you doing?
Okay.
focus up, boy.
Get your face out of the mud.
That using your military training brings you down to 7. Do you want to spend more fate points to bring it down more?
I
Sure.
don't know what else.
I mean, just kind of going off the whole thing
Mhm.
about the women's equality and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Like, hey, just as he was, you know, Regina as well being a lady, and that, you know, it's not about gender here.
Or you
It's-
can think about your friends of the world to you. That's a good
Yeah,
justification.
I think the next step after that, if I'm gonna spend one more fate point, which I hate doing, but let's do it.
Mhm.
Will be my friends are my world, because then I'm just going to think through that if I hadn't done this, I would have seen my friend die in front of me.
Yeah.
And not even that, this person would have brought death to everyone at the club,
Mhm.
at the
Right,
brick
everyone
house.
you love, yeah, all of your
Everyone I
friends.
love. And I just think of that and I go, no, it's better this way.
Okay. You spent it. That will
did.
bring you from a 7 to a 5. You need to soak 5 shifts.
All right.
Your consequences are 2, 4, and 6, and you can only spend one of your stress boxes.
So you could take 1 into your mental stress, which leaves you 4 to absorb. You could
Mhm.
take 1 flat moderate, or
Yeah.
you could,
Yeah.
you could take the flat. You could
Moderates.
take the
Let me do
just the
the-
moderate box of some damage. There are
Mhm.
consequence.
Mhm.
I'll take the moderate box, and that's just going to be I don't know, do I just moderate stress?
Well,
Is
let's figure out what your
Trauma?
consequence is. Well, we have a choice, and I'm going to ask you. And this is going to be something that you need to tell me about Tango.
Yeah.
As Regina has real fast cleaned up her place, right? And is probably moving out onto the street right now.
Yep. Can I? Oh, there are so many things. I need to burn the film.
Yeah.
Just throw it in a furnace.
Yep.
Burn it.
Yep.
I need to gather 1 hat box worth of the photos that are like hanging around. I like quickly grab them. Camera, sniper, the bare minimum.
Mhm.
The bare minimum. And Regina is going to go 2 blocks away from this location, or a little like around a corner, and dump it all in a dumpster. And she needs to go find Tango.
Okay.
Because she's heard, I'm sure I hear the riots and the
Yeah.
fires,
Yeah.
the shots that
Yep.
have been fired.
And Tango, I'm going to ask you. You have a choice between 2 different moderate consequences, and I want to know which one you think is more appropriate for Tango in this moment.
Yeah, let's go for it. What is it?
One
What you got?
is psychological. You can have a psychological effect from this, wherein this sort of murder really sort of hits you in some kind of a way that's sort of distressful. Or the fact that you committed murder in daylight on the street can give you a more social consequence. Like, for example, murdered someone on the street.
Right. Murdered somebody in the street. I think this would be psychological. I'd like to think that this was perfectly timed for the riot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Okay.
not only that, but she was undercover.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I mean?
She was.
She's undercover.
Yep.
I called out that she was a thief.
Yep.
I don't know. In this time, in this era, people hate women anyways, right? I don't know. Like, what's going on here? No, I'm kidding. But my point is that
Not that much.
Not that much, I know. My point is that yeah, I think it'll be psychological.
Okay, because I want to give you the option. You could go either way, right? That consequences for you to think about. Also, of course, Regina has to get her radio stuff out as well. Dot, you've got to get your radio stuff out. Yeah. So, how do you think this would affect you? You're thinking about something that's going to last, like 2 weeks worth of psychological problems until you fix it.
Yeah. I think this is gonna make that's the problem with psychological trauma.
And it can be things like shakes, nightmares,
Anxiety
Not
attacks.
able to sleep.
not able to sleep, anxiety attacks. Something.
I think I'm gonna say anxiety.
Something about the sight of blood.
Yeah.
Anxiety attacks. You know what? I think yeah. How about blood?
Yeah.
I like the blood one. When he
Queasy at
sees
the sight of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's a really good one.
You saw a lot of blood in a
Yeah.
very short period of time.
Yeah.
It would make sense that that's the trigger, is like that
Yeah.
excess amount of gore.
Yeah.
Macbeth.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you are there on the street, right, in this moment. And it's you're kind of a little bit stunned in this moment, right? As you probably don't even hear all of the things, right? All the chaos that's happening, because you spent that faction, you spent your stress for your faction, and you had some of the cleaners. They were there, right? And they were just sort of causing some chaos so that people didn't necessarily see exactly who was going on, like, you know what I mean? And they also slowed her down so that she couldn't get away. And Regina, what about you? Flashing over to you.
I dump all the things. I run back. I'm probably bleeding from my shoulder, so I've oh Lord, am I gonna have to cauterize this? How bad am I bleeding?
No, it's not too bad. It's like it's
Perfect.
it's like
a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's a flesh wound. It's a minor consequence.
Keep moving. Regina quickly runs and she's dumped the one smaller, nicer radio. She's going to use the big one as the necessary things to create a bomb inside of the apartment, a trigger-based one. I'm thinking maybe if they move the bed and find the hole, which is what they'll be looking for.
Yep.
And like maybe they slide the brick and it strikes the piece of flint that like lights the whole thing on. And I rolled a 2 on that chemistry roll.
That is good.
That's all I need. I set it. I leave it. I do what I would do, which is lock the door. Leave it locked for them. Why the hell not? Make it that much harder for them. Before it goes kablooey, and I need to go find Tango.
And you rush out onto the street after having dumped your really good radio so you can come and get it later, set up this bomb, you've done all of this. And when you stand outside, when you go onto the main street, it's there's like a fist fight going on. People are screaming, people are yelling, people are running. There's this sort of chaos that's happening. Great. And in the center of this chaos, there is one man standing alone, not moving, with this gun in his hand by his side. People may not even notice the gun. And there's the Arctic fox on the ground with blood everywhere. And next to this Arctic fox, there's this little old Parisian woman who is weeping, covered in blood.
I think my train of eyesight is actually on that woman.
Sure it is. I run. I notice this is Tango instantly, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I run over and use my body to hide his gun, and I take it from him. I like slide it from his person.
So much blood.
Is there a drain, like an open sewage pipe or something?
Of course.
Yeah, I
So
run
blood.
over and I slide it down a grate, and put my arm around Tango. How is he looking? Is he responsive?
So much blood.
That's how he's looking.
How's
I'm like, Tango.
What did I do?
Tango.
What have I
You
done?
did Tango. I
What
kind
have
of
I
smack
done?
him a little bit. I smack him. I'm like, listen, you did what you had to. We have to get off the street. Do you understand? We have to move. We have to move.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
And I grab his hand and try to fade into the crowd to get us
Yep.
off the main street. I take us back to the dumpster where all my stuff is.
Yep.
I'm like, Tango, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you right now. I need you to focus. Are you focused?
Yeah.
I need you
Yeah.
to go back to the bar without
Oh.
being seen, and I need you to get Jules and a car.
Okay.
Car with the van.
All right. Okay. And do what with it?
We're gonna meet 3 blocks that way, and I kind of point to where the dumpster is. We need to move my things, and we need to move them quickly, and I mean very quickly.
Yeah. Hold on. And I'm just gonna try to shake myself, like. You know,
And I grab you by the
Yeah.
your damn banana shirt. I grab you by that freaking banana
bloody
shirt,
banana shirt now.
Scissors.
and I shake you a little bit,
Yeah.
and I look at you and I go, "Thank you for helping me,
Yeah.
but we are not done."
I understand. And
Yeah?
just gonna like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna pop my banana shirt collar.
And I look at him. He's covered in blood.
No, he wasn't close
okay,
enough.
Good. There's no blood on him. Okay.
It's the
He
old
just
lady who's
sees
covered
blood.
in blood.
The thing is, because of his psychological trauma, he looks down. He probably sees blood. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, but then he's just like,
Hey,
You
Wash
there.
it off.
Regina,
It's time to party.
Yeah.
He's just gonna run.
He runs. He's going to run back to the bar, and you're there. You know what? You're kind of bloodthirsty, yeah? A little bit.
I'm a little bloodthirsty.
Just a little.
You know, I hate to mention this as he runs off. Everything's fine. Most people didn't see anything, right? Except that woman, that little old lady, saw his face real close. Saw it all.
Oh no.
Made an impression.
And she's right there. And she is a witness. And I will offer you a fate point to let your cold-hearted, bloodthirsty professionalism decide you need to do something really bad to this woman. Or you can give me a fate point. It's up to you.
I reach into my side bag where I keep a slew of small things. I pull out a perfume bottle that does not have perfume in it. A clear, odorless liquid, and I rub it all over a handkerchief I have on me, and I rush out to this woman, and I look at her dead in the eyes, and I begin patting her face, trying to wipe away the blood and gore. I say, it's going to be okay. It's all right now. All of this is just a dream. We're gonna lay down now, and I'm gonna just arsenic her into a state of being.
And here's a fate point, my friend.
Oh.
My trooper Mephisto. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have you make a will roll. Because you just murdered this woman, but your difficulty's not an 8.
That wasn't so good.
Oh, you could re-roll. That's a bad roll.
Could re-roll. I just got this fate point
You
for
did?
doing this. I
You
might as
did?
well use it to succeed on the damn task. Okay. Here we go again. A re-roll. Yeah, we'd have to re-roll it. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm not rolling well tonight. Okay, there's a 4. A 4.
Yeah. So
She is unfazed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Does
here's
this
the
woman
thing.
have- yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You have killed people before. For somebody who's never killed anyone before, that's an 8 to roll against that will roll. For you, you have killed people. It is not an 8 for you. It's just a 6. And you have failed it by 2, which you can soak with some mental stress.
You know what? I do this all the time, and I can soak all of it.
Yeah.
I can soak all of it. This is not the first time I won't be sleeping. Regina soaks it, and I kind of gently lay, in the chaos, I lay her body down next to this woman. Does this old elderly woman have papers on her?
She does.
I take them.
Yeah.
Those are valuable.
Yeah. You take her papers.
And anything else that she may have on her as like a distinctive modifier, so that nobody can go be questioned. That's related to her.
Because she saw him and she saw you, and now she sees nothing.
This is true. And I quickly, knowing that soon the message will make it to Jules, I assure that I'm not being trailed and head back to kind of this alleyway dumpster area where I've been hiding and hanging out until they pull up.
Back at the bar. The bar is beginning to come to life. Charlie's there setting up the bar. You've got the musicians moving in. Everything seems fine, right? It seems like a great day. Everything's okay. Jules, you'll be all right. You've gotten a little bit of medication. And you've had this good talk with Sylvie. I think things are going to be okay. And
I spoke to our cleaners as well to help with that whole thing.
Yeah, and you spoke with the cleaners. Everything is going to be okay. And that's when the door bursts open. And in bursts Tango.
I'm not on stage.
So
yet.
what is it?
Nope,
What does Tango
it's
look
early.
like? Is there?
No blood. He was too far
assume
away.
he looks a little rattled. I'm going to go up to. What's going on? Did you fight it?
Oh my god! I need Jules. I can't talk about it right now. There's a lot going on. I need Jules.
Sure.
I'm just gonna snap Jules. Jules,
It's
need your
are
help
you okay?
outside.
You okay, Tango?
Yeah, everything's. I'm looking around as there's probably people in the bar.
The
Hey,
bar,
everything's.
the bar is like not really. The bar is like it's that space when the band is there. You don't really have customers yet. Everything's being set up. The bar's going to open up really soon, but
Oh,
I found a pastis.
One thing. I'm going to rush over to the bar. I'm going to look over and be like, I need a shot.
and Charlie's like,
Pastis.
oh all right, honey.
Now.
Oh, all right.
Please.
Charlie, wait just 1 second. I'm gonna whisper to Jules. Jules, put a drop of your medicine in that shot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Put a dropper in there.
Mm-hmm.
And one for good measure as well.
Mm-hmm. And Charlie pours this shot and hands it over to our Tango.
He's gonna shoot. He's gonna lift it up and be like,
I hear sirens outside. Did something happen?
"Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot going on in the world. This is for friendship."
Okay.
Charlie's like, she pours out some shots. She takes hers.
Man, take the shot. I'm gonna put a hand on Jules and be like, "We need to go now."
And Charlie gives Sylvie a look like,
Okay.
I can handle the bar.
Jules will go grab his bag with a mass 38 inside.
Sylvie,
I'll be joining as well.
aren't they expecting you tonight?
Many people expect many things.
And
He's
Charlie's
gonna look
like,
at you, and usually he's got some kind of comeback where he's gonna look at you and be like, "Yeah." And he's just gonna look down and he's just gonna walk to the door.
Jules, it might be a good idea for you to take a dose yourself before we go. She's gonna just
It's okay. I already have.
very good.
Thank you.
Sylvie's gonna take a shot too, though, just because if everybody else is.
All right.
And
A bit
I mean-
of medicine. Just
Yeah, hey, if it's being offered.
there you go. Just one,
Just a
one
drop.
for you. Just one
Perfect.
drop.
and you,
I like to be calm as well.
Santé.
and you hit the van. You have access to 2 vans now. You have the restaurant's van, the cabaret's van, and you have that Gestapo van that you stole.
Okay.
Might be-
Here's what
Which
I'd like
van do you want to take?
I would like to take the Gestapo van because I don't want anything to link us back to this place or whatever. I imagine the uniform's still inside, right? We have the uniforms for it.
You have
So,
one.
yeah, one. What I'd like to do is open up the back of that van and like looking at Jules, like, Jules, we need to take this. Here's the there's some equipment that needs to be moved. It needs to be moved now. Here's a location. I tell them the location. So if you could just wear this, we'll use this van.
You want me to dress as Gestapo?
Yeah.
Now look at me. The Gestapo would not hire me, my friend.
All right, let me put it on. I've done it a couple times, I think, at this point.
I'll be the
I'm going
driver.
to go into the van. I'm going to change, and I'll come out. All right, then. I guess you're here to help us out. So why don't you
I'll be the driver. I'll drive.
you drive for me?
Yeah.
I'm the one who paid you to drive. That's the story.
it.
Sorry, I'm off my game.
It's okay.
I'm off my game.
Sit.
Sylvie,
Are you sure
why
you're
don't you
okay?
hang
What's
out
wrong
in the
with you?
back of the van, and because we need to help put a lot of equipment in. We don't have time. We got to do this now. Everybody, no questions. Just go.
All right, let's go.
All right. I'm gonna check the car just quickly. Tires, everything, just to make sure it's good to go.
It is a go. You've kept it safe, and I imagine you've kept it in kind of like a secret garage, like you have kind of like
that'd be really cool.
because like there are parts of the city that are a little bit abandoned. So I imagine you know various places that are a little bit less populated, and I imagine you sort of place this Gestapo van not too far so that you can get it quickly, but in kind of an abandoned garage. And you head off. I'm gonna need a driving roll just to get there without looking suspicious, but quickly.
Okay.
I'm rolling a -1. So that's like a 1 I got.
It's okay. I'm a very good driver. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
So,
driving with
How much I get?
backward.
5. Yeah.
yeah. So
So Julie's really excited to drive now.
let's get you a boost for that one. And your boost is going to be ghosts, a ghost in the street. That's what we're gonna give you that one. So you are
I got the morphine a bit. I'm very smooth, you know.
and you are basically you are moving through the streets, just like it's. Tango, you're probably not paying attention. You've got other things on your mind right now. But Sylvie, you see it. It's amazing. You're also muted.
Yeah.
Tango.
I didn't say anything.
I missed your.
It was incredibly amazing what I said, so we just weren't even. Yeah, it's fine.
And it's the thing is, it's this thing that you can see it, Sylvie, because you're sort of looking at the front. It's this amazing moment where Jules seems to have this sort of slightly supernatural ability to just turn right before a Nazi car comes down the street. It's almost as if he knows the patrols and.
It looks like he's in a trance almost.
So what I'm hearing is having him drive while a little bit of morphine is great for him. That's what I'm hearing.
Who doesn't want to drive on a
Short
little
term, it's
morphine?
great.
Yeah, but
Oh
it's,
yeah, we're both on morphine. I took a morphine shot.
Yeah,
He's
We're
taking
all
a-
on morphine right now.
Yeah, no, you took a shot with like 2 doses of morphine.
Regina took a real shot and she's waiting in an alleyway.
We're working on it. We have a lot of drugs in our system.
Not being able to resist, or
This
he will
is
put his
not
head out the
Burning Man,
window.
it might be Burning Man. I'm just
Burning
telling
Man
you.
in a van.
Yeah,
Starting
Burning
to
Man
feel
burning,
it's
Nazi
burning.
man burning.
This is
It's
Harold and
fucking
Kumar go to
burning.
White Castle. What are you talking about? This is great.
I'm going to tell you, it is not. See, one of these kids is more high strung than the others. One of these kids is standing next to a bunch of illegal equipment. And you know that she has connections, and you know it's like there are sirens. You're not at the scene of the crime, but you know people are coming. And you drive there, and you drive there fast, but it's this amazing kind of thing where the car seems cool. Do you know what I mean? Like the way you drive is so casual, but you get there so fast, and you avoid.
Using the labyrinth,
Yeah.
knowing it by heart, so.
And you get to this little alley that Tango directs you to, and there is a dumpster and Regina.
Ah. Okay.
I probably changed my jacket, like my coat in my
Yeah.
apartment, and left the bloody one behind with a hole in it so
Yeah.
that nobody knows that I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
I kind of wave over and I just start like chunking things. I pop the back of this van open. I don't even know if they have back hatch.
Yeah.
They do now. Maybe
Yeah.
a window hatch probably for
I
this
think-
time.
No, you'd have a
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
the big
the
door, 'cause it's a
doors, yeah.
restaurant door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like a catering. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I just start
I'm gonna
tossing
help
all
her
of my
out.
stuff in.
Help her.
Yeah.
Get it all in, and I jump in and close the door, and I'm like, let's get out of here.
Okay.
Back
Cool.
to it. Where are we taking her?
Where we're going.
Are we going back to
What
the
is happening
Bertha?
anyway?
To just get out of here.
Okay,
the
start
bar is
driving.
fine.
Let's go
Start
back to the
driving.
bar. We'll go to the back door of the bar. And put
Are
everything
we going to be
in.
followed?
Not if we hurry.
Mm.
I'm gonna look over. and I'll be
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna
"Can
make sure. Check.
Someone help her with the wound.
Wound? What
I'm gonna
wound?
check the rearview mirror, see if we're being followed.
I would like to
Occasionally.
give you all. It's an option. Would you like a fate point for Nazis are everywhere? It's just an option, but you don't have to say yes.
We did use all of our fate points in the first half of the show tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, Jules is
Yeah,
a
we
great driver. You can
We
handle
can
it.
try to outrun them.
Would you like a fate point?
You have the best driver in Paris.
We could try.
Fine. Yes, do it. Do it.
All
We
right,
have to
so-
lose.
Jules puts his pedal to the metal.
I give you all a fate point.
Hey.
And as you're driving, there's a van, a Nazi van that's going the opposite direction. And Jules, you see it in the driver's eye. The driver looks at your license plate and recognizes it. Right? It's that moment where the two cars are passing, right? The two vans are passing, and you see the driver look at your license plate and gets this look in his eye right as you pass, and then behind you, you can see the van do a quick turn and come after you.
All right.
This is a chase.
And we'll speed up.
I'm imagining in the back we all go,
Smiling, of course,
Regina!
because I'm on morphine!
Regina goes, who has a gun? Who has a gun?
Where
I
did
have
my
a
gun go?
mass 38 machine
I
gun
threw
in
it
my
to the
bag.
sewers. I grab whatever gun is available, and I
Take
say,
my
everybody
bag.
hang on, and I kick the back door of this
You got a mass 38 submachine gun
van
there.
open, and I just want to hit the driver. I'm trying to aim for the driver.
What is going on here?
Okay.
I'm excited!
Okay. Ooh. We have got a couple things going on right now.
Yeah.
It is a
like it.
contest. So this is a contest.
Yes,
Oh, that's a nice drive, though.
It is 3 versus 3, right? So whoever gets 3 successes first wins this contest.
Oh, no.
You, my friend, it seems to me that you, dearest Regina, are trying to help by shooting at them.
That seems fair.
That is fair.
It's like Al Capone.
Al Capone.
I would like to also help by throwing
Please.
things out of the van at them.
Wait, not my important stuff. Not the important stuff.
I won't throw important things, but if I see like a shoe, I'll throw a shoe. I'll replace it later.
Throw the banana shirt.
Now I want morphine!
The three
Oh, no,
pieces
the
of clothing
banana shirt,
Regina
not the
has is
banana
now
shirt.
out of the van.
Oh, no, the banana shirt wouldn't make it that in the car anyway. But I was
Tango.
like, I see a shoe,
Get
throw
on
the
the
shoe.
windshield.
Would you like to try to aid?
I think yes. And here's how I kind of want to aid.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to aid by. No, I actually like the idea of the shoe or the. No, here's what I'm gonna do. The jacket. The jacket I have on.
Mm-hmm. Your
'cause I
Gestapo
dress up
jacket?
in the Gestapo
Yep.
jacket. I'm going to come out the door and I'm going to try to float the jacket out so that way it goes over the front so they can't see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I will
So
roll a shoot for that if you want.
Then I'll blow their tires out. I'll take a tire.
okay. I'm gonna go first off. Dot.
Mm-hmm.
That's good,
Yeah.
right? That's gonna create an advantage for you.
5.
Well,
That's what I rolled, right? With
you
the
rolled a 3,
3.
right?
Oh, but the bullet, it's the guns. We're not rolling for damage.
You're not rolling for damage.
Got it,
You're rolling to create. You're rolling to create advantages,
Got it.
and so you create the advantage hail of bullets with
Can I
one
roll for Hail of Shoe?
free invoke. Please
Yeah.
roll. I'm gonna want from you. What are you gonna use for this?
My physique
Do it.
and my shoe throwing arm.
Yeah. That's
Hey,
fair.
I just threw a shoe in my
about to
bag.
say, if their windshield wasn't covered, you could
Oh,
just flash
boy.
them and distract
And there are
them.
a lot of different things you can do to try to go and help in this moment. Let's see. You're gonna throw. It's not gonna be super useful.
Well, hang on. The first thing I got was a 1, and I thought it didn't register, so I accidentally rolled again.
You're gonna need a fate point if you want that to trigger.
You know, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal, but
I mean, the real question is how much damage will we do with this shoe?
hang on.
Then
If
again, it
it's a-
could be a lot.
Okay, girl, what kind of shoes are you wearing? If you're wearing like combat boots, it might be able to bust a
She's not
windshield.
wearing combat boots. She's
I
got
don't know
like,
what you're wearing.
You're not doing damage. You're creating aspects to help the chase.
Aspects of LG. Well,
Yeah.
let's see, I have 1.
And I'm gonna want to roll from you, Tango, unless you want to do something like some kind of knowledge or something. But you're also doing like what physique? You're doing athletics, maybe.
Ooh, it's not in my wheelhouse, but yeah.
I'm gonna wait on my shoe.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You can wait.
I got a car maneuver on my Troy.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll it straight. I don't have anything else.
Sure. Okay.
2.
All right. So you toss this huge coat, and you notice more vans coming. Right, there are more vans coming at this point.
Oh my God.
Regina, you let out a hail of bullets with a submachine gun. This
Is
huge.
that what this is?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Nice.
it is. It is a submachine gun.
Yes, Carl's bouncing.
Right? There's a submachine gun,
words.
a hail of bullets as you see another 2 vans coming up. You throw out your Gestapo jacket and let me roll their drive. Let me roll their drive.
Oh,
You
that's
get-
not great.
It is not. You get 2 successes on them.
They are confused by all of this.
We get one more.
One more roll.
Yeah, they get 0 successes, you get 2. So you are currently at 2. You are pulling away from them as
So who's rolling this? Is
our driver, but you can
Driver,
support.
okay?
Right, 'cause you've
I will
already-
Okay, I
continue
got it.
suppressing fire.
You are suppressing fire. You have set this up, right? Bullets
Do
are
I need
going.
to roll again for that?
No, you've already set up. You've set them
Fantastic. Then I will just watch this happen.
up. Ooh.
Oh, dang!
Straight zeros.
Okay, I want to
go.
reroll. Take points.
No. You
No,
hit a
you
4.
did- you
I hit
rolled
a 0.
4.
Oh,
You rolled
okay,
a 0.
okay. Whoa, whew.
Now I need to ask you a
I'm
question.
impressed.
Slick team!
Where are you
I'm not helping,
going?
but I'm here.
It's just that Drew is a great.
Where are we going?
Yes.
Around.
Jules, where are you taking them? You're being chased.
We
by-
did not go to the bar. I'm gonna go ahead and confess.
Yeah, we gotta lose that. If we can lose him with his driving, if that's all that all that was, then we need to go behind the bar somewhere, drop this shit off real quick, and then lose the.
No,
lose
we
the
need to
van
wait
at
it
this
out
point.
for the night.
Yeah, we can't. We're not going anywhere near the bar. We're not going behind it.
Oh, can we go to
Yeah.
her
Within
dungeon?
the several
Her dungeon
blocks.
Okay,
apartment?
well, maybe
Is my
Drew-
dungeon secure? And will we lead them there? Are they following
Maybe-
us?
an entrance. Yeah, the catacombs.
If we get in via the, I mean, it's not a pleasant route, but if we get in via the sewer, it should be.
we need to try to lose them.
I mean, that's a genuine question, Trooper.
Hmm?
Are they following us? Will they follow us to our next location?
You have lost them, but the question is, do you want to risk with what is clearly a hot van? Because
Right.
your driving
to-
has made it
The
very
van
clear
is not coming to the club.
We need to ditch this van.
that they know the van.
So I'm gonna. Yeah, we're gonna drive. To
So the question is, where do you want? Like, you're gonna have to ditch stuff somewhere, and you know it's a hot van. Your driving is insane, right? You were able to. The hail of
Yeah.
bullets helped
So
quite a lot.
If we can just have 5 minutes, why don't we dump all this in a dumpster and come back for it?
Why don't we dump the van and then we won't have to worry about it?
Because they saw the license
But then
plate.
you still need the stuff in the van, though, right?
Yes. Jules, pull up behind the club quickly. And we'll just dump everything
Mm-hmm.
out, and then you can go ditch the van and come back, Jules. Better yet,
But-
why
but-
don't you make it difficult for them and drive the whole thing off into the water?
The sin.
Drive it off into the sin.
Yeah.
It'll be glorious.
Okay, with pleasure. All right, so let's go. He'll go into the smallest streets possible.
And here's the thing about the smallest streets possible. Paris is old, and there's
Yeah,
some
so there's-
super narrow streets.
Yeah, there's bricks as well, so it's very. Yeah.
And you're able, and like,
Drive so fast.
the other thing about you, Jules, is have you ever met those people, if you've ever been to certain countries, Italy, Korea, there are certain places where people drive where like they know exactly how wide their vehicle is, and you're like, there's no way you're gonna make it through this alley. This alley is way too small, and like there's like this much clearance on each side, but they can do it. You are able to get to lose them through your ability to maneuver through spaces in a ways that like it's scary. Like if I were in the van with you, I'd be freaking out because you're going way too
He's
fast.
super calm. He's got the morphine, the skills.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
he's just whistling and driving.
Riding a high.
Yeah. And you pull up back behind the club, and you all like load out as fast as possible. I imagine into your secret room.
Load all of Regina's stuff into storage just so that it's hidden. Because right now our files are gone. Those files are not with us
And if
anymore.
while
So
they're doing that, I can switch license plates with another car, that would be great.
And then you're gonna ditch the van?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just so I can get to that point.
Yeah.
yeah.
Give me one Jules, I need one roll from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to need from you, give me stealth.
Okay.
Sure. And you get that +2 because it looks like you're working, right? That's your stunt.
I just work here.
Yep. So you're able to maneuver your van out with these because you replace the plates. You get a quick plate change. You're able to sort of drive this van out without anybody sort of noticing you. Where do you ditch it?
It's a great question. I like the idea of dumping it in La Seine. And so I will drive to maybe a warehouse district next to the port. And I will, put it in neutral and let it roll down the hill. And say bye-bye.
And you watch it as it just picks up that momentum. You know how vehicles do? And it just picks up momentum and it just rolls off right into the Seine. And you watch as it slowly begins to sink. And you stand there watching that moment. And Sylvie, what about you? You also quick dumped all these things right off.
Well, I guess I probably just got off at the club stop and took myself back out into the club to resume my normal activities.
You're so good.
Greeting the guests and singing my songs.
And
leading the band.
You step up on stage, and it is beautiful, and you're singing, and the band strikes up. They'd already been doing some dance music beforehand, and people are dancing, and it's beautiful.
And everyone's seen me all night, of course.
And everyone has seen you all night. And
my entire staff has been here all night, obviously.
And they're all alibis. And you, Tango, and Regina are in the basement. And that is where we'll take our break. We're going to take our 10-minute break. Go drink water. Smoke them if you got them. Or don't smoke them if you don't want to smoke them. You can do what you want.
Be all of the above happening. C is my answer.
See,
just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, do what makes you happy.
Unless it's murder, don't murder.
No, don't murder.
Don't murder. And if you do, use absinthe. I'm just kidding. I'm about to say that on Twitch.
I want to sort of give a shout out to We Are Nerdsmith. Our buddies at We Are Nerdsmith went and gave us 100 bits. No message, but thank you for that. We will be back in 10 minutes, and then we're going to sort of get ready for that. Everybody.
What an episode.
I need a doctor to patch me up.
Yes, you do.
I'm sure if I tell the doctor who needs to be patched up, she'll be here lickety split.
She's already here, isn't she?
Oh, she is? She didn't leave?
She left.
What's she been doing this whole time?
No, she left because she's you're all talking about murder.
Yeah, she left when I had part one of what apparently is going to be a part two conversation.
About a little bit of murder. Take a break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Elmer Davis, CBS News analyst, who returned this week from a 5-week survey of conditions in the British Isles, at this time takes the Columbia Network's nationwide audience on a personally conducted tour of the CBS newsroom. Mr. Davis will describe one network's coverage of the war. As you all know, the European war is at once the greatest and most difficult assignment radio journalism has had to handle since its inception early in the 20s. The Columbia Broadcasting System was prepared for thorough, precise coverage of the war. And now Elmer Davis will return over most of these stations at 8:55 p.m. tonight, Eastern Daylight Saving Time, for his first broadcast under the exclusive sponsorship of Palmolive Soap, will tell you how Columbia covers the war. Mr. Davis.
Most of you may be familiar with my nightly broadcasts and perhaps have wondered occasionally about some of the things that take place behind the scenes prior to the broadcast. I would like to tell you now about Columbia's facilities and problems so that you can realize the scope of the forces that are being put to work for you. After a year and a half of war, when many countries have fallen under foreign domination, it's naturally harder than it was in the beginning to get the news, or perhaps rather to get at the truth. For much of the so-called news that comes from Europe these days is not necessarily the same as fact. The story may be utterly untrue how it passes, with consequent effect on public opinion or on government action, or in the sense that some government or some group has an interest in putting out the story for purposes of its own. From that viewpoint, it could be said that in this country the difficulty of getting at the facts is that we have too much news, too many conflicting reports of diverse origins. But it is the business of a news organization to assess and analyze and compare these reports in the hope of approximating as closely to the truth as possible. And after all, it's a good deal easier to do that in this country, where more news is available than anywhere else in the world, than to do it in other nations, where, as a rule, most of the information comes from one side, if not from one source. The Columbia newsroom draws on about all the possible sources of information and tries to shake down what it gets into the most accurate picture that can possibly be drawn. First in volume comes the full wire services of the three great American press associations, the Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service, whose teletype printers are ticking away all day long, bringing in the news as gathered by American correspondents in all parts of the world. Even as I talk to you now, these machines are spelling out the news of the moment. Let's listen to them briefly. In bulk, most of the news you hear on the air comes from these sources, which are the same, of course, as the sources of most of the news in your daily newspapers. But we believe, or at least we hope, that at Columbia, not being under the obligation to have a big new headline in a precisely limited space for each new edition, we are able to serve that news up with a more judicious estimate of its probable value than is commonly done in print. To do this, we have a staff of news editors who rewrite the news as it comes in, who write it for the ear instead of for the eye. Let us turn on a microphone in the newsroom and hear the clatter of typewriters as news programs are rewritten. Again, you will hear in the background Press Association teletypes. Like the newspapers, we also have our own special correspondents. In almost all of Europe, with the exception of Russia, which has never admitted American radio correspondents and allows Press Association correspondents to send nothing but official announcements or material that appears in the government's press, correspondents all over Latin America and in many parts of the Far East as well. Working under censorship everywhere in Europe, as of course all newspaper and Press Association correspondents must work too, these men are nevertheless able to bring us not only the news in their various countries, but in some countries background material of immense value as to social conditions and public opinion. Little of this is now possible in Germany or the occupied countries. But from England and the Near East, the direct reports of correspondents are still of great value in building up the general picture as well as in presenting the news of the day. Censorship in England, where I have recently observed it, applies only to matters which government officials regard as likely to give information of military value to the enemy. No correspondent, whether for the air or for the printed page, objects to this in principle. But naturally, there is often considerable disagreement as to whether a given piece of news is likely to fall into that classification. Differences of opinion between government officials on the one hand and broadcasters or news writers on the other, and sometimes differences of opinion between government officials themselves. Some of them would be inclined to be more liberal in releasing news than are the service ministries. But in a pinch, the Admiralty, the War Office, and the Air Ministry have the last word, as perhaps they should have in theory, even if there's often disagreement with their judgment on the part of people who realize the importance of news and opinion in this war, as servicemen very often do not. But there is no censorship over opinion and commentary. Generally speaking, American correspondents are under the same restrictions as the British press, qualified only by the vagaries of individual censors who have some latitude for judgment as to what news is likely to be valuable to the enemy, and sometimes disagree among themselves. American newspaper correspondents sometimes complain that the censorship is easier on the radio correspondents than it is on them. Radio correspondents would not agree with that at all. But just as the British press, though the news at its disposal is sometimes inadequate, is able to fill up its columns with feature material, which is often quite critical of governmental shortcomings, so American broadcasters are at liberty to report their impressions of public opinion and of social and economic tendencies in England, whether their conclusions are those that public officials would approve or not. In the Axis nations and in the territories which they control, this is distinctly not the case. But in England, freedom of speech survives, limited only by precautions of a military nature which everyone approves in principle, even though often disagreeing with their particular application. Supplementing all of these facilities, and of immense value in receiving and assaying the news in such a war as this, is Columbia's shortwave listening station. Here all day long, trained linguists, all of them trained newsmen too, are listening to broadcasts from 24 points in Europe, Asia, or Africa. Broadcasts which being intended for foreign consumption are normally in English, French, German, or Spanish. But our staff of translators is able to handle a number of other languages too. And here from such points as Moscow, Ankara, and Saigon, and Leopoldville, as well as from London and Berlin and other more familiar points of origination, there comes over the air the news that foreign governments want to get across to the outer world. Not to mention the broadcasts from 4 or 5 so-called freedom stations, secret transmitters which purport to be operated in Germany or the occupied countries by organizations working against the Nazis. They are operated by such organizations, though it is possible that some of them may be located in England. Now, indeed, much of this news is propaganda. Indeed, practically all of it is propaganda, but propaganda, whether true or false, is apt to be news. From these shortwave broadcasts, we find out what foreign governments want other nations to believe, and it is usually possible to infer what they want other nations to do in support of that belief. Perhaps you would be interested in what goes on in our shortwave listening station. We'll open our microphone in the listening room, a glass-enclosed room just off our news studio.
61 Tonnen bekannt gegeben, die sich mit Kriegsmaterial beladen auf dem Wege von den Vereinigten Staaten nach England befanden. Der englische Artikel als Carolyn von 6.160 Tonnen wird ebenfalls als verloren angegeben. Der bekannte türkische Militärsachverständige General Ekali.
We hope you were able to hear at that point the Italian radio giving out its news for foreign consumption. At this same time, our shortwave listening station could also pick up the British Broadcasting Corporation, transmitting at this moment in either Arabic or in Dutch, or the Stockholm radio sending out news in Swedish, and the Algiers radio in French, while to the south of us, Guatemala is shortwaving in Spanish. And finally, there are numerous news or propaganda services of foreign governments received in our newsroom by mail. British, German, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, Free French, Polish, Dutch, Norwegian, Czech, which often contain news items that do not appear in the regular Press Association reports. This is especially true of the news services operated by the governments or national committees of the conquered or occupied nations, from which news and information as to social conditions is smuggled out. And also, there are a few small private news services available to our staff, from which occasional items of moderate importance may be gathered. Direct telephone communication between Columbia's foreign correspondents and our news editor permits two-way discussion of the trend of the news and probable developments, so that on both sides of the ocean, members of the Columbia Broadcasting System news staff have a better idea of what to look forward to in the days ahead. Now you will hear Paul White, our Director of News Broadcasts, and Edward R. Morrow, Chief of our London staff. This process of setting future programs, exchanging information, and passing on assignments takes place at least twice daily.
Hello, CBS London. Hello, London.
Hello, Paul.
First, I want to check tonight's 2330. That's the Gulf program. We have you down from 2335 to 2340. Is that what you have?
Right, and under Cairo.
Yes, you will introduce Cairo. I believe it's to be Cecil Brown. It might possibly be Charlie. And will you have a chance to listen to Cairo on the Q channel before you go on?
Right.
What is your report on that program? How does it shape up now?
Which one, Paul?
On the 2335.
Oh, well, it looks now as though the only thing that's going to be up is a little more detail on the Crete story and Alexander's broadcast to the Navy, which he will be doing in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. You haven't heard anything more from Lee White, have you? Hello?
Hello, London.
Yes, Paul.
London, I'm not hearing you in my phones now, but I know that you're probably coming in all right so that you can be heard on the air. Will you, and we can take it down stenographically elsewhere, will you tell us something about this Round London program that we're planning now either for June 7 or June 14?
Right. It's not yet set definitely, but it looks as though it will be the 14th. And what I thought we'd do would be to open the show in a hospital and then move over to an anti-aircraft gun position where the predicting and the calculating is being done by women. And then a pickup from the Piccadilly Circus subway station and a rumba band from a nightclub, and then end with about 45 seconds from the top of Big Ben.
That's fine, Ed. I put on...
And we are back, everyone. There was an exciting discussion happening right before we came in from the credits, but we'll just have to have that online. Hi, everyone. Hey, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We did some very
looking good, chat.
Yeah, hey, chat. How you doing?
Great. How's it going?
Leg day.
We had a very mild first 2/3. It was very mellow. We didn't.
Yeah, mild.
Almost a little boring. I don't know.
Super
Really, I mean, just
boring.
nothing happened. We sat around and just role played. Who
Yeah.
likes that?
No. One thing I really like about Fate, though, I like how even in what you would think of as combat, which we've actually we've had more than one so far, including Regina's browbeating of our young Luke, which
That was a combat in technicality.
But it worked, which I love about Fate, that your combats may not actually be about gunfights. It might actually be about intimidating people or maneuvering around them, and that's very cool. And I like how in Fate, the consequences of your fights can be really different than in like a Dungeons and Dragons, right? Mm-hmm. Our consequences there's a lot of way in which role playing sort of ends up still feeding into how those conflicts work out, which I think is great. May not be so great for Tango. You're okay. You're okay.
How much did you take?
Some morphine left.
Two and you took
two and a moderate. Mm-hmm. And that moderate will not start clearing until some TLC empathy starts happening.
So 2, so that's a check in the right box, right? The
That's
mental
correct.
stress,
Mm-hmm.
and then 0 checks in the left box.
That is correct.
Okay.
So you get back to the club, and it is I don't know how you all are doing. How are you all doing?
Me or Regina?
Well, I imagine Regina's
I'm going to go ahead and
fine.
say that Tango is going to go into a very false, very whereas I guess other people, when they do this, they get very morose or whatever. I think he's going to get almost where you can't see the real Tango that his friends will see. He's going to go into extra charismatic mode. and he's just be like, everything's fine. He's gonna have his blinders on. And he's just gonna be like, everything's fine. Everything's wonderful. Hey, are you drinking enough? Well, let's get you drinking some more. Hey, I like that shirt. Needs more bananas, like that kind of stuff.
Can I get a rapport roll from you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no, that's not 1. 5.
Yeah.
Sorry. 5's real good. Yeah. He's
on point.
He's
great. On point. Like, and everyone will see it as soon as he walks in. It's like,
yeah.
He comes in and like a smile comes over his face. His eyebrow comes up, and he's just like, "All right, it's time for everybody to have some fun." That's what we're all doing tonight.
Jules is feeling great about the driving, so he's in the same kind of crazy mood.
Sylvie is keeping an eye on her people, but as far as everyone else can tell, she's doing her normal thing that she's normally doing.
Well, actually, I'm coming in later, right?
Yeah, you're coming in a little bit later.
Yeah, I forgot.
But not too much later. Like it's not going to take you too long. And the club is like, what a great manic space. Everyone is having such a lovely time. Everyone is happy. Everyone is fine. It's great. Regina.
As long as there's liquor.
As long as there's liquor.
Music.
Regina lights up a cigarette.
You're bleeding.
Yes, I know. I light up a cigarette.
You're like, I don't care.
I don't give a... yeah, she lights up a cigarette. She pulls the jacket off, which I'm sure is like partially sticking to like sticky blood now. She unrobes her top.
It'll be better if someone else does this first aid on you.
Who's here to do it?
You should get someone.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna ask Charlie to call Hannah again, because that wasn't.
If I'm there, I can try it.
Regina would not wait for somebody. Okay.
That may be, but because Sylvie did hear this in the car. She's gonna have Charlie call Hannah anyway.
Yeah, call Hannah by all means, but Regina would not wait.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I'm telling Charlie to let Hannah know it's her favorite staff worker.
Our dear Hannah has gotten so many mixed messages. She has no idea what to do. Would you like?
Everybody's feeding her information, but it's not coming from Regina proper.
No, tell me, you're gonna need to make a medicine roll at 4.
I just want to dig the bullet out of my shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still a medicine roll.
Of 4. That's what you need.
Oh my god.
It's because when you do it yourself, it's harder.
It's very painful too.
Well, I try.
You are digging around your arm, and you're making it a little bit worse, and it is not good. And you're like,
Fuck! I like yell out. So, what's down here? Is there a furnace down here?
There is, because probably not in the private room, but I would imagine in the basement there would be.
It's a mistake.
Is there an iron?
Yeah, of course. There's costuming.
Here's the thing. It's just, I'm not bleeding out, right? Like, I'm not going to bleed out.
No.
Fuck. I can't do it by myself.
You would like to. Can I ask you a question about this? How steady are your hands?
Well,
I always feel like she's cool as a cucumber, no matter what happens.
Well,
except that she's alone right now.
Yeah.
They're not.
And that was her. It's one thing when you're in your sacred space, especially if you're a little bit of a hermit. No offense.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I could cauterize it, but I know the bullet needs to get out, right?
That's just gonna make it harder to take out. Leave it alone, lady.
Yeah. I mean, what else is Regina gonna do but sit here and bleed and smoke? That seems appropriate. Regina sits and bleeds and smokes.
And it's...
I want that picture.
Yeah, I want that picture too.
Her hands are covered in her own blood, in the blood of...
Just giving up, bleeding, smoking.
Yeah. Oh, she's on the
quietly
cursing in German too.
And It's a little bit of time before, it's not too long, before the door opens and there, silhouetted at the door frame, is Hannah. She's looking a little bit out of breath, and she's got her doctor's bag. She has bicycled all the way over here very quickly, as fast as she could.
Flushed from the activity and perhaps from something else.
A little flushed, and she rushes in and shuts the door behind her so that you all are safe and not to be seen. And she rushes up to you. And she sees the blood, and I imagine you're probably in a camisole.
Actually, I imagine that Regina wears a military tank.
Mm-hmm. And she rushes up to you, and she's like, "What?" And she says, but her, like, there's a difference between what she's saying and what she's doing. What she's saying is trying to communicate with you, but her hands are all business. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, "What happened?" As there's this kind of like,
shot me. I say blatantly, and I show her the bleeding wound, and I was like, I tried to pull the bullet out, but.
And she looks at this wound, and she's like, "Well, that's," and she just like goes, and all of a sudden, things like antiseptic, things to cleanse the wound, start coming out so that you don't get infections. And she's like, and she's got this very delicate touch, as she starts to work on stitching you up and bandaging up, and it's not too. And she's like, "It's not that bad. What? Who did this?"
Doesn't matter. How many languages do you speak?
Me? Why? As you can, she's like, and like she's like,
neither of those were the answer to the question that I asked. How many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak French. I speak Yiddish. I know Hebrew. I know a little bit of American. I know.
So you say that you are well versed in learning languages of all kinds.
Yes.
You have a delicate touch. Have you ever thought about being a radio operator?
What?
A radio operator.
Like you?
If that is the only example you have, then sure, like me.
Well, I feel like I probably have other uses, she says as she's patching you up.
Radio operators aren't just radio operators. I wait tables, remember?
How many languages do you speak?
Enough to get by in France.
Well, I imagine you speak French and...
German.
And? I bet you speak Italian.
I do. And read some Latin.
I studied Latin, and she ties off the stitches.
It is useful in knowledge of histories.
And she just spends a little time cleaning up so there's less blood, and she's putting some bandages on.
Thank you.
You know,
it feels better.
It wasn't that bad of a wound. I'll give it 2 days.
It'll heal faster than that, usually.
So, I'm sorry if I... if I embarrassed you at any time.
Embarrass me? I don't get embarrassed.
Well, I mean, earlier when I just, you know, when you... I understand...
To speak so many languages, you have yet to finish a sentence.
It is a little awkward. That's all.
What is?
Well, trying to apologize for...
Then don't apologize, for you have nothing to apologize for.
Well, I feel like I should. I'm sorry for hitting on you when you're not interested. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You said hitting on me?
Yes, and she thinks about it, and she says it in German, although her German's a little bit off, like her German's not super, super great.
What makes you think that I would even be interested?
I understand that you're not, and I'm so sorry. I apologize.
I did not say that.
Oh,
That I asked. You really know how to dodge a question. Did you know that?
Well, sometimes you get used to dodging questions that you don't want to give people the answers for because it might not be safe.
Sure. I empathize.
Do
with
you?
that. No. I mean, yes. Yes, I do.
Mm.
I don't feel a lot anymore. It's I stay rather busy, and it's asking for trouble, is it not?
Maybe. Your photographs were beautiful.
I don't share those with others.
I saw it accidentally.
Yes, I assumed.
Mm.
They are mine from a different time.
I just, I wanted to thank you for taking me to the roof when we let go of the fireworks. It was romantic.
Oh. Since we share in taste, have you ever been in love with someone that doesn't know?
Oh. Have I ever been in love with someone who doesn't know? I imagine you understand. It seems all of our life in the demi-monde is always wondering whether or not the person you're interested in might even be interested in you, and if you can, how you might be able to figure out to ask, but you can't really ask. And so you always, so many people you never really know, right? You never know. Even if, not even just if they are interested, but even if they could be interested. Yes, I understand I dodged the question.
So that is a long-winded way of saying.
Yes.
Did you ever tell her?
No, I didn't.
Do you regret that?
And she looks you in the eye as she just finishes up the bandage that she probably took a little bit too much long on. And she says, "That's a difficult question to answer. Part of me likes to think of myself as the kind of woman who wouldn't be afraid to say something."
But who are you really?
I think sometimes I'm that woman, but oftentimes I'm not. And when I didn't say anything, I justified it. I said it was the smart thing to do not to say anything. It wasn't the right time. It was maybe too dangerous to say something. I made a lot of justifications that all seemed very logical and reasoned. But in the end, the truth of the matter is that I was a coward. And I didn't ask when I should have. And no matter how many justifications I made about safety and sureness and all of that, I should have just said something. And now I'll never know.
Oh. Poignant. Thank you. Am I done, Doctor?
Oh, yes. You don't have to call me doctor. I mean, I do appreciate it. I did go to medical school, but...
And you earned the title.
I did, but you can...
If you were a man, you would expect me to call you by your title?
I wouldn't expect you to call me by my title at all. You can call me Hannah.
Fine. Thank you, Hannah, for stitching me up and light conversation.
You know, Regina, I feel like you should dance a bit more.
Probably not. There are tables to be waited, of course.
Not always. Sometime there won't be.
Maybe sometime. But that is not tonight, and I need a cover, considering the fact that a woman shot me in the street. Well...
A woman?
I hope you have a wonderful evening, Hannah.
Okay.
And, you know, there's nothing stopping you from setting off fireworks whenever you want.
All right. If you have any extra fireworks and you want to invite me, I would be happy to go along.
See, the funny thing is, I was hoping you would invite me. Until next time, Dr. Hannah.
Indeed, I will let you get changed.
I'm already out. Walking, I'm like buttoning up as I go up the stairs and tucking my shirt. I need to be seen. Doing something else other than being stitched up from a gunshot wound.
And you're all up there in the cabaret.
I wait tables. I put on an apron. I come up. I look around. Who's here? Anybody of import? Is Skeezy Man? I look for Skeezy Man.
You look for Skeezy Man. Skeezy Man is not there right now.
Good.
I might think that he might be a little busy right now.
Perfect. Great. Wonderful.
There might be things going on that they're dealing with. I don't know what those things might be.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're muted, my tango.
It's a wanted poster of Tango. That's what they're working on right now.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that.
Hopefully we got
with.
that. Yeah. Hopefully we're all
That
good.
was dealt with.
And it's a lovely evening. I suppose that's how I'd phrase it. Our social people are all smiles, and everything is great. It's wonderful.
Julie is doing the door.
Checking who comes in and who comes out.
Taking cigarettes, bribes, and he'll subtly try to find out about this Moroccan that was captured in his stead.
Yeah.
See if he fits the bill.
And Luke is there, and he's basically doing things that... He's working with such an attitude, and he's just like carrying like empty bottles like in a crate from one place to the next. Like he's like moving things back and forth, and it's really sort of grunt work, and you can tell.
I want to go fuck him. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood for it. After being shot tonight and all of this, and I might be feeling a little thirsty, and I just want to take it out on this poor kid. And so Regina...
Luke's going to end up being a good boy, by the way. He's going to end up being a really good boy.
Yeah. I bump into him. I'm sure he's like carrying all these plates. I like bump into him just enough to like put him off kilter, but not for him to spill everything.
Yeah.
And I simply say, you should watch where you're going. Hate to break all those dishes.
And you can tell he's still really intimidated by you from before. You can just tell. It's like on his face.
I move in front of him again as he goes to walk away. What's wrong?
Nothing. And like he puffs himself up to like make it seem, but it's all so, like it's so fragile.
You know I can tell when you're lying.
And he looks around.
I just smile, almost smiles. Dude.
And he's like kind of frozen in the middle of the cabaret, like with this like bucket of glasses.
You're doing a good job.
And you can read his eyes, and what he's saying in his eyes is, "Does that mean you won't kill me?" But he doesn't say it out loud. But that's what's in his eyes.
I say, for really? Thank you for working hard.
And he rushes off, but like with a wide berth around you. Luke is the person you would ask, Jules, if you wanted to know.
Yeah, so he asks him.
And Luke,
but, I mean, it's not. The thing is the reason why he would ask other people is because Jules. I mean, Luke and his organization have a vested interest in just making it go.
Yes,
away.
yes, they do.
So I'm not sure he was gonna.
Yeah.
I think he might try to ask somebody who's neutral.
Yeah.
Or
like it just see what the gossip in the neighborhood is at the club. I want to. I just want to sort of point out one thing. I think this is important, just to sort of think about this for everyone in the club except for Sylvie to notice. The lights, and I kind of just can sort of imagine this at this moment. The music comes up, and there's a spotlight right in the center of the stage, and the band has struck up this tune. And there's that smoke, because you know how people in Europe smoke like insane, and so like the bar is so smoky. And Sylvie comes out onto the stage. What are you wearing for this performance?
It is still dark. I would say like a darkish gray, but we do have some sequins going on now. So it's going to be the thing to where the lights are all going to glint off in different directions, but still very moody overall number. Very long, slit up the side, you know.
What do you sing at this moment?
This one is going to be more of, and for my actual band, this wasn't really my era that I covered, so I'll give you more the tone.
Yeah.
This one's going to be more of a little bit of a slow, more slow, saucy. This would be one that the couples would come out to.
Mm-hmm.
But the tone behind it, if you actually listen to the lyrics, is a little bit more of a not really the cheeriest.
Maybe like Gloomy Sunday, maybe.
Yeah, that seems nice.
And yeah. And it is, and I would like you to roll for me. I need a roll from you. I want to know how alluring you are. I want both performance and rapport. That's what I want. I want them both.
Well, for performance, I got a 6.
Go on. Go on.
Oh, wow.
Rapport, I got a 3, but...
Yeah, it's good.
There you go.
I'll rely on my performance for this.
It is...
He will take off his cap. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is amazing. This piece, she is so dang sexy, and she's so talented, and she is just like the center of attention. There is a reason why this club still exists, even in the occupation. And there are various people in this bar. There are a couple Germans here and there who like a good jazz, and there are a lot of locals, and there are a bunch of expats who are still here who have not left. And everybody has different feelings going on in this moment. And I'm going to ask each one of you where you're at in this moment as Sylvie sings Gloomy Sunday. Luke has sort of put the glasses down, and he's stopped, and he's sort of watching Sylvie. And he is thinking about kind of how amazing it is that he works here. Right? Like, he only got this job because he didn't want some other thing, but this is amazing. Right? This is somehow the most glamorous thing in this moment, right? Like, he's sort of a little bit caught in awe of the amazingness of this environment and what he's a part of. Jules, where are you at?
Jules would be right next to the door inside. I've taken off his cap and he'll be taking a drink. And maybe his hand will shake a bit, but as this song blooms, I think he'll calm down.
Tango, where are you at in this moment?
I think at this point, I don't even know what Tango's real job is in a bar anymore. I think he just kind of sometimes half waits tables, half makes sure people are okay, kind of like, I don't really know what his job is.
I don't think anyone really does.
Nobody does, right?
Every bar has someone like that.
Right. It's just somebody walking around. It's like not the manager, but, he's asking how people are doing. But he's been taking secret drink shots all night long. And at this point, I want to say that he is beyond drunk and reeks of alcohol and probably like constant, just almost like on that weird, like hiding every bit of your feelings. But when you're doing that, almost on the verge of tears, that whole thing, he's gonna wrap an arm around Jules as he sees Jules with his hat down or whatever, and he's just going to unrhythmically hum along with Sylvie, and he's just gonna be like, Jules.
He's gonna put his arm around him too, just to keep him up.
Yep, and that's it. Like, and he's just gonna have the whiskey. He's like, I killed a woman and shot her. And the only thing I think keeping me together, and I'm just gonna put my glass and wave it over in Sylvie's direction, is her.
You did this today?
Yeah.
With my father's gun.
Your father's gun, like a real hero.
Oh man. Oh boy. Shit.
But hey, it's gonna be okay. Everything will probably be okay, right?
Yeah. Well, this woman, she was nuts. She was crazy. She was. Yeah, it will be fine. Tango.
Yeah.
But my father's gun. It's not for this. Tango. No more woman with my father's gun.
No, I don't. You know what? Also, I'm really sorry, but I think we lost your father's gun in a grate somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's gone.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's probably just as heartbreaking as me shooting the Arctic wolf.
No, it's fine, Tango. This woman, she was dangerous. She was dangerous, very dangerous.
Dangerous.
Okay.
Oh, women are dangerous, Jules. Right here in the heart. You know what I mean? Like right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Dangerous.
you see, when I went...
I think I'm real drunk, Jules. I think I'm real drunk.
Okay, it's time for you to lie down, my friend.
I don't...
No.
Am I still wearing the Gestapo thing?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna take him downstairs. I'm gonna lie him down.
Okay.
Because...
Jules.
Yeah.
Jules, come here. Get closer. I want to tell you something.
Huh?
I appreciate your friendship. You may be my best friend in the world.
It's all good.
So-
You're so drunk now.
No, I got something else. Come here. Do you think Sylvie likes me?
Oh, yeah? Well, you're a lucky man. She's got fire. Be careful a bit.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna... Am I wearing my... What am I wearing right now? Doesn't matter.
Is he dressed like a Gestarian?
No, he's changed.
Okay, all right.
He's changed. Yeah.
I was gonna leave it up to him.
Yeah. Tango, get some sleep. I have some good medicine right here for you. I got it this morning for the same thing.
Hey, Jules. When did you get to see your lady?
When did I get to?
When did you get to see her again?
I'm not sure yet.
But that anticipation feels, in a weird way, really good, right?
It feels good. But if it wasn't for this whole story with the killing and the maid.
I think I know what you're talking about now because I've killed somebody. I think I can be a part of this, right? Conversation.
Yeah. And it's not a good feeling. They train us to fight. They train us not to think. And then later, the thoughts come.
Well, they don't train you how to sleep with your demons.
No. But they give you this. Hands in the morphine.
Ooh, what's that? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I imagine as soon as that morphine hits, he's that drunk. Like, I love it if it's like a cheesy, like weird half like love seat thing with a curled thing, whatever. And he's just like, his legs are flopped over it. His like, shirt's kind of half unbuttoned, and he just like has a drink to his side, and he just is flopped out. And that tango is done.
Would you make an empathy roll for me, Jules? Yeah, you need a 4 though.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there goes nothing. That was nothing. That's exactly nothing. 0.
Not enough to get our boy in recovery. Perhaps that will be Sylvie's job.
Yeah.
But while the two gentlemen are downstairs in the basement...
He's not good at talking to other men. He never had a father.
No.
This, yeah.
Not yet. But while the two gentlemen are down in the basement, that leaves me the third person of our crew to ask. Sylvie is singing in the most amazing way. What's going on with Regina?
Regina probably stops to watch the performance in its entirety with everyone else. When she's all done, she is tired and grumpy, and has yet to see, I guess, her new residence. And she will probably take the bare minimum, the most important things with her, and walk on foot to the new location for the evening. There's just far too many people here for Regina right now.
And I suppose, now, what's the last thing you look at before you leave?
Sylvie.
And you give Sylvie a look before you leave, and Hannah gives you a look before you leave.
Oh, I give Hannah a look. Hannah knows that look.
No,
Hannah gave that same look when she got here.
She did. And Hannah just watches you leave as you watch Sylvie as you leave. And Sylvie, you're on the stage and you're singing this song and it's amazing. Where are you at?
Well, whenever there are different places she goes when she sings, depending on what the song is. Some places are more in tune with the band, sometimes connecting more with the audience. This is one of those places where she just kind of is gone. She's not really in the room. She's not really there. She's more so as she starts, she's thinking about Drancy. She's thinking about Dimitri, but then it kind of moves past that, and she's just kind of lets the sound take her farther and farther away, and farther back. The conversation she had earlier with Jules, thinking about things that perhaps she hasn't really thought about in quite some time. And, just all of the small things that led her where she is today. And the people that have been led to where she is as well, and how that all happens. But just taking the time in those moments to allow the experience to be one of those things that lets her not be there.
And as you're lost in the music, and the gentlemen are downstairs, and it's this sort of interesting, sort of smoky moment, there's like one small thing that you may notice as you're there on the stage with the lights bright in your eyes. You see, how when you're on a stage, when you're performing on the stage, you've got the lights on you, you can't really see the audience very well. Every once in a while you can kind of like get glimpses of them, but they're so shadowed in many ways. But in the corner of your eye, as the door opens and somebody comes in and that sort of light sort of changes things a little bit, you see her. You see Ruth and her husband. And you see Charlie go to greet them and usher them back. And they're going to be ushered downstairs to your secret room, awaiting transport out of the country. Ruth has convinced her husband to come. And you know that your safe house is being used once again.
Good.
And that's where we'll end our episode for this evening.
Yes.
Oui.
As Hannah does not ask for a dance because she cannot, not in this club, and it is what it is. So
hey, give it a few years, who knows?
Give it a few years.
That's the point.
Give it a few years.
Can't.
She cannot ask in this club. There might be clubs she could ask, but that is not this club. What a lovely episode, everyone. Let me turn off my Cotton Club music in the background. So, first off, I want to thank all of you in chat for being here, for all of this. And Coldrake says, "Damn it, Regina, you best slow dance one of these nights."
Regina doesn't dance.
Under some fireworks.
Maybe she should.
She doesn't dance yet.
She blows things up. She kills old ladies in the
somebody
street.
would be happy to teach her.
That is what Regina does. On the priority list of things that Regina is thinking about, dancing is at the bottom. It got cut off of the receipt when they ripped it off.
Do you know how the Arctic Wolf made it through that crowd so easily? Dancer's legs. That's
it's true. It's true.
Dancing is the one thing that will hold you back now if you don't do it.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but we can think about that regret.
You tell me what man's going to ask Regina to dance. That's the question I pose because
Luke,
just make a little invite to your new dungeon. I'm sure someone will be happy to go there and teach you how to dance. Don't have any man.
Great dungeon.
Tango would dance with you. Tango would definitely.
Tango would totally dance with you.
He would be the first person.
I was about to say, well,
9 p.m.
Nobody's
when the dance floor
asked
starts.
except for the really hot doctor lady, which I can't dance with in public. So.
It's fair. It's fair. Well, but there may be, it's complicated. There's a lot of complicatedness going on in this one. So I would like to, we have some tips, and I want to read them off as a thanks. This was such an intense episode, everybody, and I'm totally here for it.
So much fun.
I'm so here for it.
It was so much fun. It was so beautiful.
Oh,
in every way.
Oh, right. By the way, as I'm reading out the messages from our bits, I want to remind you all that we need an episode title, so get your thinking caps going. Volpez donated 54 bits and said, "Absinthe makes the heart grow fonder."
Yes.
And absinthe might indeed
Not untrue.
make the heart grow fonder.
Tetramorphine.
Oh, yeah. And then Rissa has given us 1,000 bits with these messages. 1. Congrats on besting the Arctic wolf. I also love that it was Tango that did it. That's
Was not expecting that at all.
The worst, yeah.
right. Like that's the ooh. And then also some bits here from Rissa to say for the PCs who could all use a little love right now.
Starting a little wear and tear there.
Yep. And then our Ace Alexandra gives us some bits that says, "Fuck me, I'm out of bits." But there's still bits there, Ace Alexander. Still bits there.
Thank you for your last bits.
Thank you for those last bits.
The final bits.
The final bits.
Final bits
Countdown. So why don't... Oh, I'm sorry. We just got one snuck in from Void Smoker, who is our fan artist extraordinaire, who I cannot say enough about Void Smoker's art. It kind of just makes me crazy because it's so good.
I want art of Regina digging a bullet out of her own shoulder with a cigarette in her mouth.
And I want art of a passed out Tango.
on the love seat, yeah.
On the love seat.
A lovesick passed out Tango who's going through traumatic stress. This is exactly what I want.
This is an intense episode.
And Void Smoker says for us, after that donation of $50, this is still the most amazing show in any medium right now. Also, shout out to Coldrake for his historic facts in chat. Always a delight to read. And I want to point out, yes, Coldrake's facts, I don't get to say anything while we're going because we're in the middle of going. I need to make sure that I'm keeping my players tortured enough. I mean, entertained. And
keeping us entertained.
Hrothgar
ooh,
threw something in chat too.
Does loving the PCs do anything for the PCs? If not, at least they have a lot of clovers for luck.
I like luck.
I like
You
luck
could use
too.
a butt ton of it.
Yeah.
I think we've already used a butt ton of it, and we're going to need a lot more.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I really enjoy how the fate system is working, sort of dialed down to be a little bit grittier. I really enjoy the ways in which you really have to be like, okay, these are my aspects. This is what I need to do to make it through. And I love... I love that. I love the ways in which you're like, okay, wait, well, who am I? And how's that going to get me through this moment? And how can I pull on my friends and their help to get me through this moment? I love it. The stakes are high, and so it's intense. So let's go around and have our amazing cast introduce themselves, tell us where we can find them next, and have each one of our cast members give some love to another cast member for this moment. And also Hrothgar gives us another 1,000 bits that says, was that imperial or metric button? I'll cover both.
Butt ton.
A metric butt ton. It is a butt ton. It is a butt ton. I think it's which butt ton is it?
I
don't
think
know.
it would be larger, and if it's a metric butt ton, it would be larger. Yeah.
How many butts make a ton?
Number-wise.
Also, that's what I want.
Well, it depends on whose butts. Like elephant butts, less
Right.
butts in a ton than like.
Right? Are we talking? Are we talking
Then
Instagram
say
model
my
butts?
butt, which
Or are we
is much
talking?
smaller.
You know,
And-
Yeah.
but your run of the mill butt is this? Is
yeah.
this a
I feel
is
like that's even a subjective
very subjective?
Yeah.
of what qualifies as a run of the mill butt.
I mean, if we're talking here, it would be, I guess, the butts of this cast's butts.
Oh,
How many
So,
of these?
so
if you
5
average
cast
out,
butts make a
if you average
butt.
out the cheek of every person here, and then that cheek, then you would have to put that.
You have
into-
to average a butt is made up of 2 cheeks.
Right.
We're talking a butt ton, not a cheek ton.
now I'm
Yeah, a
thinking
cheek
about
ton is half of a butt ton.
Right.
Sorry,
We're
I'm
talking
sorry. You're
a
right.
butt ton.
My mind was all on cheek. I'm sorry.
dancing cheek
It's
to
all right.
cheek.
It's an easy mistake to make.
Coldrake and I were thinking the same thing at the same time, dancing cheek to cheek. So we're gonna go around. We're going around backward. We're going
That
around
got out of
this
hand
ways.
fast.
I want to know. Introduce yourself. What's going on next with you, and then give a moment. Give love to another cast member for a moment that you were like, yes, that's the moment. And we're gonna start with double crits.
All right. Double crits on Twitter. Jean-Francois in real life. You can see me on Wednesdays doing The Witcher. And this was crazy. This was a crazy episode. I love the driving part for Jules. It was good to get that out.
I think you'll get more, especially if you go to Etampe. I feel like there's more driving. That's all.
It's so much fun. It's so feels good to have a great driver as a PC.
Yeah,
it's my only great skill. So,
but also if you'd not been successful, that would have been so bad for you all.
That's a scary thing about choosing driving as a skill, because if you're not successful,
can end up really
shit
bad.
can happen. Yeah, shit can happen. Like especially like in those cars in the 1940s.
Oh my gosh!
Think about it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and then moments. I don't know. I think for me, there's a lot of favorite moments here. I like the Tango shooting a woman in public. This is so
the worst
conflicting, for this character. My God. So that was like a big moment I found. And then I really enjoyed her rocket story and how she shared it when she's talking to Jules.
Yeah.
This is finding more about the backstory and what it is that makes her tick, and what these things that she has inside. So that was a great revelation. And then I love this moment when we're in the van and Regina finds out it's a machine gun. This was like Pulp Fiction, like, all right, you motherfucker!
Yeah.
I could see
clearly we all four need to be doing things more often together.
If there's art that I want, that's what I want to see. I want to see her with the doors open.
Yeah.
Spray and pray.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing that I want to see drawn. Like, Jules just calm as can be, like, so on morphine, just like driving, like, yeah, like Tango weeping in the seat, Regina like with the submachine gun, just like, and Sylvie just like chucking shoes.
Chucking shoes.
Oh, I love it.
God, that was crazy. That was.
And I love how by being able to by working together, you're able to sort of get those to sort of be bigger boosts, and then get out. Like, so you were able to, like, no, we're getting out of here and we're not going to be followed. And that you're able to do that together. I love that. Stiver, pardon me. I'm so excited. Stiver.
Oh, yeah, so be careful over there.
I know.
Don't break.
I'm tossing melon carts into the street. I mean,
yeah. So you can find me as Holy Stiver on just about every medium out there. I do some podcasting and such, which you would find out which shows if you actually looked it up.
Can I guess?
Right.
Go for it. Go. Yeah.
Would one of them be North by Northwest?
Yes.
Would one of them be Stellar Arcanum?
Yes.
Would one of them be Loot and Dagger?
Wow, you are so good at this.
Oh
Man, you need to win a prize. You're so good at this. And I hardly ever get a chance to do this, but I just want to do a shout out to Dot. She is actually an amazing DM. So if you ever, I know a lot of you have seen her stream, but if you ever seen her work on a podcast where she has a medium where it's just, it's like pure art incarnate. You really should.
Oh, yeah.
You should do yourself a favor.
What he meant to say was art and carnage.
Art and carnage.
Yeah,
art and carnage. Anyway, so wow. There were just today. This was a wow episode where there's some episodes that are more like set up for things, and I feel like this was a major episode.
It was also set up for later.
This is actually a setup with a setup. Wow, I think that what I really loved is that whole scene between Regina and Hannah. I think that was just it was a heartwarming and breaking scene to me, and it was fun to be an audience member for that. It was great to be through that. So that was great.
Little red dot, the littlest and the reddest of dots. Where can we find you? And then, like, who are you?
Red dots.
Red for heart, for love. Give us a moment. Just by the way, so people need to know this. Dot is not like Regina. Regina would murder a granny in the street. Dot is the sweetest, most loveliest person you'll ever meet. I just want you to know
the
it.
non-granniest murdering person.
It is true. Dot has never murdered a granny.
I ran around my dad's house one time for 3 hours at midnight, like starting at midnight, trying to get a rat out of the door because a little brown mouse out of the door because I couldn't bring myself to kill it.
Oh.
It's perspective. I can't hurt, especially animals. Anyways, I'm Dot. It was a lot. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm Dot. I play Regina, who clearly is not me at all. And when I'm not here, I play on a lot of other awesome channels. I roll dice, I tell stories. I get to hang out with cool people like this. And yeah, the best way to learn about all of those things is to follow me over on Twitter. My Twitch channel as well, where I still run games and such. And then things like North by Northwest and a slew of other things. Oh, and this weekend in particular, if you're not doing anything on Sunday, I am in an 8-hour Curse of Strahd game. It is a continuation of a campaign I'm in, but we're playing for 8 hours for charity on Sunday. So I love this character so much. She's somewhere between like the Corpse Bride meets like what's Winona Ryder's character's name from Beetlejuice?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like the perfect mixture of those. And she walks around and she carries just a parasol and she always wears her corset and her dress and she's a druid and the last female dusk elf. And I love that game.
Wow.
So you should go check it out. It's fun.
She's a giant weirdo I always wanted to be.
Yes, she's it'll be an intense game, but it should be pretty fun. So lots of places to find me. Social media is the best way to learn about those. Tonight was intense. Tonight, Lord, I would say there were a couple favorite moments. I have to give the dice some credit on that 6 for Sylvie. That's the biggest. That was the highest die roll of the night.
Wow. Yeah, it was.
Given to such an important and heartfelt moment. So we should thank the Roll20 gods for that, because I thought it was just it was the button we needed.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was very beautiful. That being said,
does it remove stress?
Listening to music, maybe. Interesting.
Sorry.
That was a pretty big roll. That's actually, I don't know.
Before you forget, that music can be singing down. Singing down to
it's basically a tangible element.
Yeah.
Tango's gonna need some help. Yeah, but go on, Dot, please.
Oh, I'll give him.
Sorry.
I don't know. There were so many good moments. I think we had great drive moments. We saw everybody do something they were good at today. Yeah. Like we all stepped it up as like a group, and so it's hard for me to say like this moment because all the moments were so rich with each character's intent, which is where you need a group like this to be when you're running an insurgency. Like they need to be driven to do the thing that they are best at. And it all felt so right tonight. And we don't have to worry about the Arctic wolf anymore.
You do not.
Dot's just excited about that because there's nothing like being hunted to just really rock you to sleep at night. So
and you even used your faction really well. I was very excited about that as well.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool
that
was
super spy thing to do, like secret codes and people step in to help you. Yeah, it was I think that whole scene, it was very like noir Jason Bourne.
Yeah,
that whole like series of events. And then of course I'm just waiting for a little explosion. I want to know who sets it off.
Oh, explosion. And
the landlord.
Rocket Fox. Where can we find you next? Who are you? And give us your moment.
Yes. Hello, I am Rocket Fox. I can be found if you look up Rocket Fox anywhere on the Meads and such. I'm super stoked to hear about this 8-hour deal on Sunday. That makes my creeper heart just creep around with morbid joy.
There will be 8 hours of places that you can creep. So
fantastic.
What was the timing on that 8 hours? Just so I know when
I believe it starts at like noon. It goes like noon Eastern to 8 p.m. I think is the time slot, and it's over on Arvan Aileron's channel. He's actually live right now. It's a charity weekend, so it's called ArvCon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a big charity event. So we're closing out. We're actually in a regular Strahd campaign, and so we're doing like an extended 8-hour day playing through the campaign we're already part of.
So cool. That's awesome. But yes, so I for one, am excited to hear about all this. And then, yeah, if you want to find out more about me, you can check me out on Instagram. I sometimes use Twitter. I'm not great at it, but I'm there.
But your Instagram's on fire.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, my Instagram. I thought
what is your Instagram?
Yeah, your Instagram is amazing. You put all these like Fox does all Rocket does all these amazing makeup
photo shoots that are just
yeah. So I do
absolutely gorgeous.
Like
what is it though?
My Instagram is at Rocket Fox, but it's basically like kind of witchy avant-garde, different makeup looks on average about once a day. And I do a shoot with my rats. Usually one at a time. It gets to be a lot when there's more.
And sometimes a kitten.
And sometimes a kitten who just abandoned me in my difficult time of need. But I've also been streaming again Mondays and Thursdays, and that's been fun. And I'm going to have in honor of Asian American Month, I'm going to be doing a Asian folktale and ghost story reading, which check out my Facebook, Rocket Fox, when I get that up. It's not going to be this month, so it's going to be a late in honor of month kind of thing. But as an Asian person, half Asian person, I want to do that. And also as a lover of folktales. But also the other thing too, I did show last time I made some shirts for Frick Tops Brigade, which are up that all of the cast can get, and you too can get. And
I need a link.
Those portions are going to go to help support the cast and stuff. So
get t-shirts.
You too can join the brigade.
Fox, put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Put the link in the basket.
Somebody first, because clearly that's the initiation.
It's true. Everybody's killed somebody. And what's your moment?
Oh my God. It was like I completely agree with that. Like everybody had a killer, and I mean that literally and figuratively, moments tonight. But like, you know, with a super high roll on the driving, like everyone's shown in their spectacular way. You know, the super feminist guy killing a lady, like you know, there was a lot. Hang on, I can't type and talk at once. But I think my moments, like the whole scene that unfolded between hunting the Arctic wolf, hunting Regina, and that like switching between those scenes unfolding all throughout the chase, that was a really cool moment, I thought. And like switching between perspectives and that back and forth. And also the moment when, what was it? She stole the flowers of Paris and then the other people getting involved. Like I thought all of that was really cool and a really cool way to utilize all of the elements of the actual gameplay itself. Yeah. Including, and I'll go ahead and toot my own horn here, being like, yo, hey Trooper, how would you like a fate point?
Yep, I'm so glad you did that.
Yes.
I felt real clever just then, and I'll go ahead and say it.
And I will tell you,
very clever.
You got rid of all of my fate points. I had none left. And,
I know.
And it was
I heard that.
you got rid of all of my fate points, and I was like, dang it. But
good.
It was good.
Now you know how that feels.
Yeah, it's awesome. Because I was like, I can't mess with you anymore for
good.
now.
Yeah, you're not getting help from London. But I think the other thing I really loved too was just that very last moment when Ruth and husband walked in. Like that, just for me personally, was super cool. Especially after my that being kind of the final moment, my solo mission.
Yeah.
And then them like coming in at the end of that whole thing was a really just like kind of cathartic moment.
Yeah. And I'm troopersjp. Woo! And you know, you can find me here at this place, giving my players joy or torture. Both. Joy is torture. And you can also find me on Wednesdays at Little Red Dot's channel, where we do Overlight, which is the show where people cry, usually me. And then
oh yeah,
we have laughs too, and there's pretty colors.
Well, but we often cry in joy.
It's heartfelt joy.
It's a very
like
heartfelt
really
show.
Deep-seated, like pathos. Like it's like Yeah,
it's very emotionally vulnerable, and so people give themselves to that moment.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's great. And you can find me then on Thursdays at 6 over on Table Story, where I'm in a good society, where I am basically a mix between Lord Byron and Oscar Wilde, just causing all sorts of trouble. And then, of course, here, it's good. And the last thing is on Sunday from 1 to 3 at Tales from the Grim. It's the final episode of Seraphim Station, which is Capers Offworld, and that's my business.
Nice.
And my moment, gosh, it was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. I think for me, the moment is everything to do with the little old grandmother. From all of the blood on her body to her being murdered by Regina in this super delicate way, right? In this, like, not brutal, but just this very delicate way that in some ways seemed like a way of calming her, right? Like, you have been traumatized. We are going to fix that through murder. But like, just, but the whole thing, like, it's just that little moment of stillness in the midst of the chaos, right? That was from like all of that, and just the way that everybody sort of moved around. That I thought that was just a lot of beautifulness. And maybe one day Luke will ask Regina for a dance. I mean, it'll take a while.
I'd like to see him do it. I want to see him do it. I don't believe it until it happens. He's got to get up the ball.
Yeah, he's not there yet. He's not there yet. No. I do have a surprise for everybody here in the audience. Guess what? Next week is a solo episode. Mm-hmm. Next week is Regina's solo episode.
I wonder if it has something to do with Daddy, maybe?
It might. It might.
The daddy issue episode.
It might be the daddy of. I mean, but maybe Regina will just like. I mean, she's got to set up her apartment, her new place. Maybe it'll just
Maybe
be
we
like.
can all kill her
Set it
daddy
up.
together. I mean, you know.
She has a suitcase, a hat box, and spy equipment.
You
And
wanna
some
clean that?
chemicals.
She's got to Cone Marie that shit, man. She's got to place things around.
Right, and she's got to set up her dark room. Maybe the entire episode next week will just be like her setting up the apartment, and then like that looks nice, and then like having some tea.
Regina does Animal
And then the
Crossing.
House brothers come in, they redecorate everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It'll be fine.
We'll hide the chains.
Next week, solo episode with Regina. The week after, solo episode for Tango. And then we have 2 after that for the end of the season. And that's what we got, everybody. And I'm excited. Oh, what's our title? Flowers of Paris, right?
Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we touched on a couple.
Totally.
Yeah, there were a couple. I love Flowers of Paris.
Yeah, I
think
like
that's great.
Flowers of
I agree.
Paris.
Flowers of Paris. That is our title for today. Boom. Done. Ooh, pardon me, Blue Yeti. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You have been wonderful. You've been a great chat. You've been great in the audience, and I appreciate you all very much. And I will see you also all next week. And please follow all of this amazing cast. They do such wonderful things. Follow them in all the places, and we will see you next week. We will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, everyone.